Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarfey Talks Premier League podcast. It is a Wednesday night, and it's our season review. We finally made it. We finally got through this cesspool of a season, and all of us survived one way or another, unless you're an Ipswich fan, a Southampton fan, or a Leicester fan. So you guys are back in the Championship. But at least we made it. But without further ado, let me introduce some of my guests tonight. First up, we've got Magic. Magic, it's good to have you here, mate. I believe it's your debut with us tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, making my debut. Very excited. Thanks for having me.
No, pleasure, mate. Pleasure. And Mark, I believe it's your debut with me as well tonight. How you been, mate?
I'm good, bro, but I was good until I saw that introduction to this podcast, and it's just like, honestly, oh man, I couldn't tolerate that another 3 times. Seriously.
Well, it's all right because you guys did come second, but there's something that you guys won. Oh wait, no, you didn't win it, did you? There was a team that had a better state. We will get there, though. We will get there. And we will all take the piss out of each other tonight. So, and then an old friend of mine has.
Oh, stopped just at that moment.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Yeah, it's me. It's me. There we are. There's Kallum there, looking like a member of Right Said Fred. But yeah, but yeah, it's me, Craig from Up the Cherries in all departments, and yeah, Callum's just putting a couple of pennies in the meat bill, no doubt. But yeah, where do we start? I guess whilst Kallum is sorting himself out, that sounds dodgy, doesn't it? Oh, he's back. I thought he was just sorting himself out.
Yeah, I was just adjusting. I was having a little bit of a pull. I'm still enjoying myself after the Europa League win. I'm on cloud. No, I do apologise. My internet has been cut off by BT. I've decided not to pay their bills, so I'm on a Starlink at the moment. If the satellite goes in the right place, we're good. If not, it's supporting Ukraine's war efforts against the Russians at the moment. But we shall see on that one. But no, obviously, as I was saying, Craig, obviously the big man from down south. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good. I was just saying that you look like a member of Right Said Fred there for a moment with the headphones on and just the bald head, just in the right position, you know.
Oh, yeah, you're still a prick. Yeah.
but I tell you what. What is has Daniel Levy actually bought a trophy cabinet? Or no, actually, you don't need it. It just needs a shelf.
Well, we did have a trophy cabinet. It's just we opened it up and there was a cloud above North London with all the dust that came out of it. So the cleaners have been cleaning it all up for the last couple of days. So it's been magic. We had a parade. Magic, I know I've just said your name, but the parade was magic as well. So, but it was a magic parade. We had 150,000 fans there. It proved that there is more Spurs fans in North London than a club that's just kind of sitting there and just holding on for dear life. They are a mobile team, so we could put them down south of the river as well again, where they belong.
Is it too early for me to come back, or like most big clubs have 1 million fans at parades, by the way? But it's okay, bro. Just you celebrate your charity Europa League. Just you celebrate that. It's all good.
Oh no, I know. All right, let's do some shout outs in the chat. Big up David Clark as well. Obviously, Craig saying hello to all his followers as well in there. Harry saying everyone have a good one. Mate of mine, Jack, as well. Good to see you, mate, in the chat. Right, let's have a quick overview. Let's do a table sort of rundown first. So obviously, as we know, it was a very topsy-turvy season with some interesting results. There was also some crap results as well, and some teams finished in places where they expected to be. A lot of teams finished where they probably shouldn't be. as well. So in first place, we had Liverpool with a respective 84 points, with Arne Slot winning it in his first year, bringing them silverware back to the club. Arsenal, recurring theme here, they did come second as well. They was the bridesmaid again here. So they are not the bride at present. They are instead, they are shaking the bridesmaid. And it turns out she wasn't that nice again either this year. So I'm sorry, Mark. I will take the piss out of every club one bit or another tonight. Right. We've got the club with more legal cases than they do against God knows how many different people around the world. It's Manchester City as well on 71 points. Chelsea, who seem to have brought up every youth team in the country, in fourth on 69 points, Craig's favourite number.
Oh dear. And so it begins.
Oh, this is going to be madness. I'm running on no sleep, headache tablets, and I've got me Lucozade, so we're going to be fucking buzzing.
And a razzle.
Jesus, how old are you?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I know.
Oh, right. So we've got Newcastle, who I think a very respectable finish for them, to be fair, considering they didn't sign anyone really, on 66 points in fifth. Aston Villa, unfortunately, after their late push, fell away at the final hurdle to not get Champions League in sixth, but did get Europa League. Nottingham Forest, very respectable season for them, but probably should have got Champions League, on 65 on 7 points. Magic, for you, we've got Brighton, 61 points. You guys are probably hoping that Crystal Palace get kicked out of Europe for their multi-club function with Textor, and you guys could be getting Europa League. Craig?
Funniest thing ever. I'm desperate.
You guys, I don't know what your rivalry is. You're like 40 miles away from each other. It's literally a long road. It's the coast road.
Right. Because it's not a derby at all. So it's got like nothing to do with location. It's just like a rivalry that's been going on since like the 70s ish. Basically, we hate them, they hate us. It's sort of all I've known as a Brighton fan. And with stuff that's happened with like, I mean, sometimes they've just got so many like unlikable players playing for them. Like Zaha did my fucking nut in for years. Just that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to like Alan Mullery and Terry Venables.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
There's some names from the blast from the past on that one. I mean, Craig still remembers that time, so I mean, it's quite interesting on that one.
Do you know what I think? Brighton and Crystal Palace fans just thought years ago, who should we start a rivalry with? You know, Spurs have got Arsenal. You know, you've got Chelsea, Fulham. We ain't got nobody to start fucking rivalry with. I tell you what, Brighton. Let's pick Brighton. Brighton fans said, yeah, let's have it. Let's go for it. You know,
it's Norwood versus the Seaside. Literally, I don't know how it works. It's South Norwood versus the Seaside. God knows how that ended up, but good on you guys, mate. I think you guys made a good push in the end, and you did pip Bournemouth, which is probably why Craig is looking as unhappy as always. Their good form did get a lot of big scalps. I'll give you that. You did do Spurs twice. You did Arsenal, I believe, twice as well. You just fell away at the end with your injuries because our Iraola proved to be.
We didn't actually do you twice because we kind of screwed it up that day.
Oh yeah, it was 2-2, wasn't it? I think something like that.
Yeah, it was. That was probably the story of our season, really. You know, a great spell. Between September and probably the start of January, and then it just all descended into a bit of disappointment.
You didn't do Arsenal. You didn't do Arsenal twice either, did you?
We did beat Arsenal twice. We beat you at the Emirates. And we beat you down. Yeah.
I thought it was a draw when Saliba got sent off.
No, that one you guys proper got beaten. I think it was about 3 or 4-0 that day, something like that on that one. Because I remember I was in a Weatherspoons watching it.
It was only
He
two.
did.
It was only two at Dean Court.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it could have been even more. Arsenal were a bit shite that day.
No, the PGML were brilliant that day for you guys, were they?
Well, I tell you what,
I'm sure we'll review that as well.
Saliba got sent
It was
off.
bullshit. It was bullshit, bro.
And the game at the Emirates, that was just classic. Just classic. You know, so yeah, we've had quite a lot of scalps, but I'm sure we'll get into it.
No, exactly. All right, in a respective 10th, we had Brentford with Thomas Frank proving that he is still a good manager down there, and well, there is that.
Yeah,
there is that. But at the moment, I've got to be very quiet because he could potentially be the new Spurs manager soon. Yes. So I cannot diss him or not until he comes in. Then I can go hell for leather over him. Barney's favourite in 11th in Fulham. I think, if anything, a bit of a disappointing end to the season for them, getting 54 points. Mate of mine and Craig's in Henry Swain with Crystal Palace getting 53, but coming away with an FA Cup trophy, which was a very impressive one for them. And Oliver Glasner is a class manager, and Crystal Palace have a lot of players I want Spurs to buy. So I will cover that later on as well on that one. Dan would have got Everton in 13th with a good resurgence under David Moyes halfway through the season to finish respectively on 48 points. One of Tottenham's rivals in East London in West Ham and their running track got them 43 points at the Olympic Stadium as well. Man United finishing on 42. After sacking Ten Hag halfway through the season and bringing in Ruben Amorim. If anything, the football got more shite. It's just they got to the Europa League final. Wolves, respectively, got out of relegation, got 42 points, have unfortunately lost Matthias Cunha since the end of the season, so it'll be interesting to see how they do next year. Spurs, respectively, and on all levels, practically shite, finished in 17th after an injury crisis and an unadaptable manager. Mark, I could put you on mute or I could put you back in the green room. Take your pick. This is your first and final warning. I do have control here, my friend. And Craig looks like a fucking cherry. Craig's got like a cherry.
But do you know what? Do you know what, Kallum? Is that it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you were absolute shite, as you say. Mm-hmm. It was fucking toilet all season. It was a complete and utter joke. And you know, as much as I like Ange, he's a nice bloke. Don't call me a clown. Don't call me a clown. I'm not a clown. I'll win something.
Yeah,
that's a really good impression. But let's be fair. Even though they finished 17th, they did win more than Arsenal.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
How many points did you end up on again? Sorry, could you say just come? Could you just tell me how many points?
38.
38. So
any other season we'd have got relegated. Any other fucking season we'd get relegated.
40 points is the safety net for the Premier League. That is the barrier that, like Ipswich at the start of the season, Southampton, start of the season, we need to get to 40 points. You fucking stayed up after 38 points.
And we still won more than you, Mark. I'm sorry.
Charity Europa League. Charity Europa League.
Oh, right. The next team below Spurs after our diabolical season was Leicester under Ruud van Nistelrooy after sacking, I believe, at least one manager in Steve Cooper last year. They finished on respectively 25, which was Jamie Vardy's last season in the Premier League and also getting relegated with them. So straight up, straight down, like yo-yos. Same with Ipswich, but unfortunately they did play at least some nice football, but they have already started being pulled apart by the top teams. And Southampton, who unfortunately didn't get Derby County's record by a point. which is a fucking diabolical joke.
You know what? Pissed me off, that did, Kallum. You know that really pissed me off.
I know, because we kept hoping for it all season, didn't we?
West Ham, of all teams, you know, they all they needed to do was beat them, and Crystal Palace as well. You got to say you know, all they needed to do was beat them. It wasn't fucking hard.
City as well, couldn't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. City gave them a fucking point. You know,
yeah, City couldn't finish their fucking dinner that day. They had like 30 shots and Erling Haaland. They were crap. They were awful. So, I mean, right, let's get into the crux of it, because obviously we had a 38-game season with lots of European competitions going on. So, obviously, Arsenal going to the semi-finals against PSG and unfortunately being knocked out based on, I think, mainly being PSG being outstanding and Arsenal just not being their day. And I have to say that you guys were brilliant in 9 out of them 10 games. It's just that day, your XG said more than what you guys actually did on the day. It was just freak stuff. So Arsenal had that. Obviously, Liverpool went out earlier as well. There was Man City, who went out very early in the Champions League. Chelsea obviously came through and won the Conference League. Spurs won the Europa League. We then had Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, which was very respective, and Crystal Palace winning the remaining trophy in the FA Cup for this. So, obviously, we'll start at the top and we'll work our way down the table and assess them. So I'll get everyone's thoughts, a quick little sentence on each part. I will give people whose team they are more time, obviously, over the rest of us as hosts. Give us your personal views. If we want to have a debate, then just put it in the chat. We can have a debate on it. If not, we can move on. And then what I'll do at the end is we will do a prediction for next year to see what place we think everyone's team will finish as well. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yep. Yeah, sounds all good, mate. Sounds all good.
Lovely stuff. Right. So we'll start at the top. And Liverpool, very respectively, have come back and got a league title under Arne Slot. Craig, obviously at the start of the season, we was all looking and thinking, what's Slot going to do? I mean, he's pretty much come in and done day one what Liverpool would want, isn't it, sort of thing, with this league win?
Yeah, he's kind of adapted it as well from what Jurgen did. Jurgen, quality manager, you know, has got Liverpool to a certain point, but Slot has made them a little bit more difficult. He's made them a little bit more controlled in their approach, more difficult to beat. So, yeah, he's done a very, very, very good job. You know, kind of took it off his foot, off the gas at the end, which, you know, did piss me off a little bit. But at the same time, you know, I think, well, considering that fucking Southampton took the lead against them, you know, he definitely did. But, you know, I think personally, you know, he come in and he modified it slightly, which has got him across the line. And yeah, very, very impressive. What's worrying now is they think that they can sign Milos Kerkez from us. And no doubt with their pulling power, they're probably going to do that. But I think they're going to be now the team and the force to be reckoned with moving forwards, which, of course, won't, you know, will make sure that the Scousers just keep talking for the next 20 years.
They won't stop, will they? Magic, obviously, like Craig has said, Liverpool have a building a force now. They're taking on Jurgen Klopp's legacy and going for sort of that solidification. So obviously they signed Mamadashvili last year. He will come in as either their number 2 or number 1 goalkeeper. Milos Kerkez could be coming in, Florian Wirtz as well. Was you impressed with them this year, and do you think they're building for the future as well?
Yeah, no, I was massively impressed. I remember at the start of the season, I think I had them 4th, and like I was being kind of generous about it because it's like we've all seen it before when like a big manager that's like iconic at a club leaves. They don't, normally there's a bit of a fall off when the new manager comes in. It didn't happen at all. I think it was really impressive, first Dutch manager to win the league, first Dutch captain to win the league. They're definitely building something there. But I do think the forward line would actually probably be my area to look at weirdly, because even though they've got some really talented players there, like Diaz and Gakpo, as amazing as Salah is, he's not getting any younger. And I don't know how you replace someone as good as him, which would be a concern. But
is there another player that Chelsea have released that can replace him down there? What do you reckon?
Ooh. If you go through enough Chelsea youth players, I'm sure you'll find someone that will be world class, right? That's how it works. I think they're. I personally, I don't know if they'd be my favourites for the league next year. I mean, it's tough to say, but their midfield is what I'm most scared of, especially if they add Florian Wirtz to it. Like,
no, exactly.
It's scary in there. Yeah. Also, it was nice of them to let us beat them at the end of the season. So, yeah.
No, that's definitely fair, mate. And Mark, obviously, Arsenal gave Liverpool a good run this year. There was definitely points where it was very tight. So, I mean, was you impressed from what you saw from Liverpool, or did you think there was a lot to be desired?
No, I thought there was a lot to be desired, and the reason I'll give that, it's not a humble pie or anything like that, because we've came second to them. I'm very well done. Congratulations to Liverpool, 1,000,000%. I couldn't say anything against that. However, I do feel that in a normal season, if you look at right now in the Premier League, there's 3 teams challenging, and it's Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. And through whatever reasons, that will come on to Arsenal next, obviously, but Man City were not there, Arsenal were not there. So I did not feel that Liverpool had the same pressure on them. I mean, you play with that pressure at that level going for the Premier League. I think Liverpool strolled the Premier League. That's my God's honest truth. I think they strolled it. I don't think Arsenal put any kind of pressure on them whatsoever through circumstances that I'll go into when we come to Arsenal, but nor did Man City. So it was almost like a one-horse race. And like Magic, I actually had Liverpool to finish 4th or 5th this season. I actually thought Chelsea would have stepped up, Arsenal would have been there, to still expect Man City to be there, and none of that happened. So for me, it was a kind of a shock. And let's face it, Liverpool won the league January. If we're being honest, it's like nobody was anywhere near them. Where if you go back to last season, Arsenal and Man City are still doing it on the final day. So there just wasn't that kind of pressure for me. So I'm not going to give them too much credit. Fair play to their fans. They won the Premier League 2019-20, I think it was, during COVID. They didn't get in. They deserved to win it. Horrific scenes afterwards, and we should mention that on the podcast. That was absolutely horrific. I would never wish it on anyone. But for me, Kallum, they probably jump up a level, but Arsenal, Man City dropped down a major level, in my opinion, this season.
No, that's fair. Magic, do you want to come back in, mate?
Yeah. Nah, sorry. I just want to say, I definitely think that's fair in terms of the drop-off, but one thing that is probably worth saying is that's not Liverpool's fault, is it? That's not Arne Slot's fault that Arsenal dropped off.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I'm not saying it is his fault at all. I'm just saying through previous seasons you would never expect that.
That's fair. Yeah, they found it easy to expect.
Yeah. Just a little bit of live breaking news as well. Liam Delap has completed his 30 million move to Chelsea from Ipswich. So very, very good move for Chelsea. They've got one of the best up-and-coming English strikers. Liam Delap, very debatable, mate. I think there were better options out there for you, but fair dues. Right, let's go on to our second place team in Arsenal. Mark, I'm going to come straight to you on this one, mate. Obviously, you said that Arsenal didn't go at it with Liverpool this year. surely that must, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I have to as host. Surely that's that's Arsenal's problem, not Liverpool. Surely that's Arsenal's failings, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 100%. And like the one thing, because I do like Arsenal Spaces, and I also do Arsenal podcasts. And on the Spaces last year, I remember back, and I'm looking in hindsight now, and hindsight's a very fine thing. But looking back on the transfer window last season, I was absolutely appalled. Nobody would have saw the rise of Miles Lewis-Kelly, for instance, one of the best left backs in the country, and we bought a left back. Cal Fury's brilliant, by the way. I've nothing against him. But when you're 2 points off City, you're going to the next level. You're expecting your team just to go up, and your board, your directors, the owners just to go up a level. And hindsight, looking back, none of the big clubs have really done that. So I don't know how close everyone was to FFP, PSR, etc. These rules. So I don't know if it was possible not to do it. It goes in cycles of 4 years, as far as I believe, and I think it's dropped off this season, so everybody can start again. And I would imagine a madness. But for this season, there was a number of factors, and I'm not making excuses. I'm adding context to it. Arsenal had the worst injuries in the Premier League, and I've got a list of them. If you want me to read them out, I can tell you the players. It is worse than Tottenham. It's worse than Man United. It is horrendous, and we still finished second in the Premier League. And we still got to the semi-final of the Champions League. So for me, Arsenal have actually had a really good season. Am I happy with it? No, I'm not. I wanted to progress, and I think that we could have done Liverpool, especially Man City not being there. However, I've got to be realistic as a fan and take the context in for what it is. And then there is also that burden, and I'm sure everybody will do it when it comes to the club, but there's PGMOL. They brought rules out at the start of the season, and they forgot about them after about 15 games. And then these rules went out. Now, if you agree or disagree with some of the decisions, then it's fair play. But I could give you one where I was angry at Declan Rice. I think it was against Brighton, actually. Yeah. And he touched the ball like 6 inches. He gets kicked, whipped down, and he gets sick of yellow card, gets sent off. After that, second half of the season, we're seeing players with the ball in play. The referee blows his whistle and they're kicking out the stadium. And there's no second yellow card. So PGMO also have to look at themselves. And I'm not just saying on Arsenal because every team gets bad decisions. But the injuries this season were horrific. Now, the last point I'll say, Kallum, on Arsenal is, can Arteta be blamed for rotation and bringing players in and not letting these injuries happen? Because we all know that we have physios that give red flags against this stuff, so we all know this happens. So maybe there's a bit of criticism there. However, Arsenal have been struggling to build that squad and finalise that squad, and I think that's where we are. But overall, as a season, despite never won a trophy, 100% happy, and think that mentality-wise, club-wise, you're still going up the way.
No, that's definitely fair, right, Craig? I'm going to come to you, and This will be quite a controversial question. How much of a whiny little bitch is Mikel Arteta?
He's a real whiny little bitch. But to be honest, I need him to actually stay in charge of Arsenal for as long as possible, because there's one club I can see Andoni Iraola go into above anybody else, and that is Arsenal, because of the style of football they play. They play a very similar style of football. The players are, without a shadow of a doubt, a step up, albeit ours are in a younger stage of their careers. Arsenal's probably in a little bit more advanced stage, but probably at their peak. What I don't understand is how Mikel Arteta can't get a song out of certain players at certain big games. and the players, the likes of Saka and Rice will always give you a decent performance, but there is other players in that side that are letting the team down, and therefore that's why Arsenal are playing the bridesmaid again, and ending up with the last one on the dance floor.
No, exactly. And Magic, I'm going to come to you on this one because Arsenal have been building this squad, and it's an impressive squad. But how long can this rebuild be going on without them winning something? Because there is a lot of money invested in that squad, especially under the Conkeys now.
Yeah, well, I mean, if only they'd have won the Europa League, right? Everything would have been fine. Yeah, I mean, I personally, if you're thinking from like a player perspective, you've got to be giving it maybe a year, because you've got like some really good, like Declan Rice, for example, whose last time he won a trophy was a West Ham player. You've got Bukayo Saka, who's genuinely a world-class player. Like, he loves Arsenal, right? So that's kind of a bit different. But there is like some of these players, like a Saliba, will be looking at it in terms of I need to win something.
Harry Kane had to leave Spurs to win something. Does that mean Saka has to leave Arsenal to win something?
I kind of want Mark to answer that.
No.
To you.
I would just say that Harry Kane could have stayed and he would have been able to win the championship in 2 years' time. So when you guys are you're in for relegation, the championship's there for Harry Kane. No, it's the best answer you're going to get out of me.
No, but it is an honest question, isn't it, Mark? Because obviously with Saka, he is probably your best player, I would say, or one of them. I would say that you've probably got 3 world-class players definitely in your squad. You've got Saliba, you've got Declan Rice, and you've got Saka. They're the people who I would say are the next level world-class for you guys. Do you think that Saka can win something under Arteta, or does it have to be under another Arsenal manager?
No, I think that. I think, like, as an Arsenal fan, I actually go back against my board because I hate my board and I hate I hate the owners. Honestly, I hate American owners. Full stop. I don't think American owners. There's 14 of them in the Premier League, and honestly, it's 14 too many as far as I'm concerned. But I honestly think that Arsenal had to do an absolute full rebuild. Our club was in disarray. Absolute disarray when Arteta came in, and there's only a couple of players that's actually survived, and they were academy players out of Hale End, and that's Saka and also Martinelli, I believe, from that point. All the rest of the players are gone. So you're talking in a whole entire squad is having to get rebuilt, and people talk about a 5-phase plan. And they think that it's 5 phases is 1 phase each year. It took Arteta like a year to 2 years to get rid of the majority of the players, like the bad apples and etc. And I could go deeper in that, but it's not an Arsenal podcast, so it took time to do that. So for me personally, what I would say is Kroenkes need to step up this year. A PSR, FFP are out the window. Give Arteta the tools. If he does not produce Premier League, Champions League, I'm not caring about an FA Cup, Carabao Cup, or Charity Shield for that matter, because if that one would be coming. Doesn't win one of the 2 big ones with the investment, where the club's gone. We just have to say, Arteta, you're an absolute legend. Thanks for getting us back to this stage. It's time for Arsenal to move on.
No, exactly. And just the last one for you, Mark. Was Raheem Sterling your best player this year?
Des has put that in the chat, has he?
Oh, Des is proper fucking you up. Des is proper throwing you under the bus, mate.
Honestly, Raheem Sterling one. Do you know what? I went to Arsenal PSV in the Champions League and I booed him. And there was Arsenal fans around me said, you do not boo an Arsenal player. I said, he's a fucking Chelsea player and he's absolute shit. Next morning, this was after a few pints. Next morning, the guy that I do the podcast with, that I go to the game with, messages me, Raheem Sterling got man of the match. I've hated him from day fucking one.
Oh, mate. Oh, that's brilliant. That's fucking
Absolutely.
brilliant.
But don't put Des's comments up. Des, you're a twat.
Well, I will have to put Des's comments up a little bit if I deem the need to, just to roll you up a little bit, Mark, but we will see. So let's jump to third. Fucking hell, it's half an hour in and we've only done 2 teams. It's going to be a late one, boys. So we're going to have fun. If you've got missuses at home, give them a kiss. Say, you're going to bed. I'm staying up with the boys. We're having fun. We're going to be doing this. And Craig will end up fucking off to Thailand again. He'll just run home. He'll just. Yeah, we was texting him and we was like, yeah, he just fucked off out to Asia for 2 weeks. Didn't tell us until he was on holiday. He went, boys, I'm off. I'll see you soon. We're just like, it's fine.
I'm just going around the world, Callum. That's fine. That's no problem. See you later.
I thought you was reenacting around the world in 80 days from Bournemouth Airport. I was going to say, Jesus Christ, I'm surprised it even flies to France. Oh, right. So let's go to the third team. It is Manchester City. Obviously, a disappointing season for them, I think. So, Craig, I'm going to come to you on this one, mate. Erling Haaland signed a deal to end all deals where it made him probably the most expensive player in the Premier League. He signed until I think about when me and you will be in a box 6 feet under as well. Obviously, Pep signed his new deal as well, didn't he? I think a 1 to 2 year extension. What's your sort of thoughts on that, mate?
To be honest, Erling Haaland is a bit of an average player. You know, he's good in front of goal, but you know, when we played them at Dean Court, didn't do very much. He doesn't move around. He's a bit like a slug, isn't he? And then you put the ball in front of him, and you can guarantee he's going to stick it in the back of the net. So you keep the ball away from him, and he's fucking useless. So yeah, Erling Haaland, I don't know. You know, he's a poacher, really, isn't he? And Pep, to be honest, Pep has done a decent job there. But to be fair, anybody could have done a decent job. You know, I think my 8-year-old could do a fucking decent job managing Manchester City. Oh yeah, just play wherever you want, guys. You know, fucking, you know, you beat anybody, albeit, you know, not this season when Roger is injured. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, they have got 115 charges. You know, I think that they need to be looked at, you know, considerably. And I shan't say anything more because I would like to go back to Abu Dhabi again. Yeah, I won't say anything more about that, but yeah.
No, that's fair, mate. I mean, we know that you can't afford to buy new kits, but you do fly first class, don't you, with Emirates and Abu Dhabi everywhere you
Etihad,
go. So,
Etihad.
Oh, Etihad.
Etihad, yeah, Etihad.
Look, it's only people that know that fly first class with them and all that. We know your high life that you have.
Yeah, you couldn't join the Mile High Club with them, could you? Really? Let's be honest.
Well, have you seen the size of some of the bathrooms on their planes? It's literally like a small condo. So, I mean, definitely it would be impressive. Right.
Yeah, but you're getting the shit for it.
Tell me about it. You'll probably be banned from about 4 different countries. Let's put it that way. You'll probably put on a watch list somewhere. All right, Magic, let me come to you, mate. Obviously, City did fall away and they did have a very big injury to Rodri, and a number of players were used to cover that position. John Stones, they tried Kovacic, they tried Jack Grealish, they tried Rico Lewis there as well. When you've got a player of Rodri's class, it's very difficult, isn't it? Especially as he's your linchpin.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's definitely tough for them to lose Rodri right at the start, like almost right at the start of the season. And they sort of felt like they never really recovered, because even when it looked like they were getting themselves back together, they lost that FA Cup final. which I'm still mad at them for. But it's a massive injury. But it'd be unfair of us to say Arteta deserves some blame for not keeping his players fit in terms of running them into the ground, and then not giving any the same way to Pep for Rodri, because he played so much football. I remember he even came out in an interview just before he got injured, and was saying how footballers are playing too many games, and then immediately does his ACL. But I think, I mean, they're in a tricky spot because they need really to. I mean, classic City, right? They need to spend in the summer, and they need to make sure that they're at least challenging next year. Otherwise, it falls away. Because if you look back at this year in like 5 years' time, it's like when Liverpool came, I think it was third in the end, to be fair, under Klopp, after winning the league, where they fell away massively, had lots of injuries, but then the next year they were back challenging again. And so there was sort of, you look back at Klopp's Liverpool and you don't look at it as, they were good, but then they fell off and never recovered. So I think it's really
exactly
for City to get challenging again next year.
No, that's fair. That's completely fair. Right, Mark, you are back from setting fire to your fag box. So let's jump onto your favourite London rivals. We're going to West London. We're going to Stamford Bridge. Just a favourite place. And I will throw it straight at you, mate. I think a respectable end to the season for Chelsea, wasn't it? From a neutral point of view, they did sort of get there. I mean, they spent a lot of money. I know we take the piss out of Arsenal for it, but in terms of finishing, Maresca did get a better finish than Pochettino did last year. They did win a trophy as well. What do you think of Chelsea this year?
I think they've done amazing for spending 1.5 billion. I think that is absolutely incredible. Fucking honestly, if you're gonna, every fourth in the week after 1.5 billion in the conference week, I'm there. Like Arsenal fans, honestly, Arsenal fans, online Arsenal fans, salute Chelsea for this. Absolute dog shit, bro. Seriously, they are fucking horrendous. Sorry, I was never ever not going to be able to swear, so I do apologise. But fair play that they picked it up. Shambles a club. They're nowhere near it. They're selling off their assets. They're not breaking the rules. They're going through loopholes to get their way. And in return for that, rather than do a Man City where they just do it proper and just sod the world, I'll do every charge under the sun. Chelsea come in and spend 1.5 billion and find the loopholes to win a Conference League. So congratulations to them. That's the best you're going to get from me, Chelsea, mate. Absolute dog shit.
That's why I gave it to you, mate, because I knew your answer was going to be proper Scottish brilliance on that one, mate. All right, let's do some shout outs in the chat quickly. So obviously we have got Mark's mate Des the Enforcer in there. Des does want to come on here, so next time Mark goes for a fag, Des, we'll get rid of Mark and you can come on here as well, mate. Right, we've got Maastricht, mate of mine as well. Obviously, Jack's here as well. Goldie Roger, hello, mate. He's looking for Magic. And what are you saying, Des? Bottom three should have been Man U, Chelsea and Spurs. Sorry, Kallum. Yeah, well, you spent £1 billion and you're still the bridesmaid, so eat shit,
We did not spend a fucking billion.
That's what you got, £1 billion, and that's what your squad gets you. 100 million for Declan Rice. Hey, there we go. Right. So just because we're running a little bit later on time, I'll just do two people's thoughts per one now as well, because I want to make sure we preview next season a little bit as well at the end without taking up anyone's hard-earned time tonight, even though I am having a good laugh for you boys. We may have to reconvene it another day on that one. Right, so Craig, I'm going to come to you on City.
Yes.
City have already started buying players. They've got Toon Reiners. They're getting, looks like Cherky from Lyon as well. They're going for Ryan Nori. Do these bastards know what PSR are, or have they got the Premier League over a barrel? Oh, wait, no, I'm on Chelsea. I've gone backwards, sorry. Well, Chelsea have already started signing.
Well, yeah, they're just fucking bad.
Don't worry, I've got a better one for Chelsea. They've got 4 first-team goalkeepers. So they've got Kepa, they've got the Icelandic geezer, they've got Robert Sanchez, and they've got someone else. They're looking to add a 5th first-team goalkeeper, Mike Magan, at the moment from AC Milan. They are then signing Delap. They're also in talks for a number of other youth prospects. They're just creating rules themselves, aren't they, now, for how we're going?
Yeah, exactly, mate. You know, they are a law to their self, but they are at the top table, and they are, you know, absolutely fucking milking it. I am sure that Todd Bowley is doing something with Richard Masters. He must be to be getting away with what they are getting away with. So yes, Chelsea can do what the hell they seem to want to. The funny thing is they're not actually signing, in my honest opinion, you know, the quality that's really going to get them anywhere near Arsenal, and definitely not Liverpool. So yeah, I'm just going to watch them crash and burn eventually. That's where they're going. You know, they're just going to keep spending, and then it'll just be a crash and burn job. And then it'll be like, oh shit, Todd Bowley wants out. Oh, hang on, we've got fucking Fernandez on for the next 12 fucking years. You know, we got problems now.
Oh, mate, don't. I mean, the loopholes that they did find were astronomical. So let's move on from them. We're going to 5th place of the season, and that is Newcastle. Magic, I'm going to come to you. I was thoroughly impressed with Newcastle this year because I think that for the richest club in the league, they can't spend anything. So I think for the players that they did utilise this year, I think they did pretty well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, getting Champions League football is like a massive achievement. And as well, like even on top of that, they won their first domestic trophy for God knows how long. So it can only be said as like, I think if you were to give it as like a season as a whole, rather than like just Premier League, there's a strong case you can make that Newcastle had like the best season out of every Premier League club. And especially with that cup final, they didn't have Anthony Gordon because he got sent off for being a mug against us. But it's like Isak is obviously some player, right? Everyone's talking about him.
He's what Arsenal need. He's what Arsenal need.
I mean, I'd be scared of Arsenal if they actually managed to pull that off. As like in terms of like they could go and do us all the way. It'd be a proper show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great club, Newcastle. I've got a lot of time for him, and it'd be good to see him back in the Champions League.
No, that's definitely fair, mate. Mark, do you share the same views as Magic? Do you think that Newcastle did have a very good season, or was you any other view towards what they did?
Absolutely, I've got a different view. Sod Newcastle. I went up there for the second leg of the semi-final. Walked up that stairs to get into the top tier of that stadium. Pulled my hamstring on the way up. Yeah. I'm on the treatment table, worse than Saka, Havertz, the whole lot. Right, honestly, I've done myself in. Got absolutely pissed. Swapped scarves with a Newcastle fan after umpteen alcoholic drinks. Get chips curry sauce through on my face. And the following morning, after 3 hours sleep, when I'm getting my train back to Scotland, I dropped a cigarette on the ground and I got a 90 quid fine. Fuck Newcastle. I was violated. I was absolutely violated in Newcastle.
Was there an apparent lack of deep fried Mars bars in Newcastle? Is that why you're frustrated, mate?
I was violated. Pick on the small Scottish specky guy. Honestly, I was violated. Newcastle done really well. They've done really well. They are the richest club, and Kallum, you broke it down brilliantly. And fair play to them, they won a trophy after 70 years. I think they're doing it right. How long they'll continue to do it right, it'll depend on what happens with Man City. Mm-hmm. Because Man City get away with this, they're going to go on a madness. I believe they'll go into madness. So that rule has to be put down. But Newcastle, fair play to them. I think they had a brilliant season to push into the top 5 as well. Champions League. We'll not get Isaac. They'll keep him now that they're in the Champions League. And they're moving forward beautifully. Eddie's doing a great job up there. So fair play to them. Still bankers for my hamstrings, though, honestly. My hamstrings not recovered.
Are you the Scottish Jack Wilshere, mate? Because it sounds like there's a lot of moaning from Arsenal about this, and he seems to be how it is. So,
have you been there?
Yeah, I've been to St James's Park. It is a bastard and a half walk up them stairs. But I drove from London to Newcastle and then went to the game. So I did a 6.5-hour drive and then walked up that stadium stairs as well, and that was long. And then on the way back, I went to Sunderland. I went to the Stadium of Light, and literally, I shit you not, that I was walking down Sunderland High Street up to the stadium, and it was pub, job centre, pub, job centre, pub, job centre. But right at the end, there was a fucking charity shop. I was just like, seriously, come on, where are we doing this? Oh, right. So we've got Des saying that you met him in Newcastle, so he's calling you a bellend on that one. And release a pic of me giving you a push on the stroller. Oh, yes, Des, please release that to us on X. Tag all of us in that, and we can start jumping on that, and we'll make it go viral. That'll be brilliant. Thank you, mate, on that one. All right. Let's jump down from the northeast, and we're going to the Midlands. We're jumping to Birmingham. We're going to the good club in Birmingham, not the one that's in, I think they're Championship now, so they are on the up, but they were a little bit down and out. So Aston Villa, a mixed bag for them in my opinion, Craig, to be honest, because they had control. And it kind of reminds me how Spurs were last year when we had fourth under our belt and we let it drop away. I think that kind of has to reflect on Aston Villa now as well. They did miss out on Champions League when it was purely down to themselves, I think, didn't they?
They just ran out of steam. And a lot of that actually boils down to the Champions League because they did do very, very well in that competition. Remember, that game against PSG was absolutely outstanding. So honestly, I think Aston Villa just ran out of steam towards the end of the season. They weren't looking themselves. Yeah, okay, they did beat us, but at the same time, it wasn't convincing. We were shite that day. Villa were shit, but not as shit. So, yeah, Unai Emery done a fantastic job. It always seems, if somebody does get into the top competition, that one of these teams that haven't got that strength in depth, they do seem to falter a little bit. Let's be honest, West Ham nearly got relegated when they won the Europa Conference League. So, I'm not surprised. But Villa did make a real fist of it, but yeah, it just fell a little bit short.
No, that's definitely fair. Magic, I will come to you on the next team, mate, but I want to come to Mark on this because obviously Unai Emery had a bit of a difficult time at Arsenal, didn't he? He wasn't, I don't think, appreciated to the full extent because he was living in Wenger's shadow, realistically. From him being an ex-Arsenal manager to taking over Villa, have you been impressed with how he's done there?
I think he's done amazing, and I think that, if I could compare him, and I go back to Eddie Howe, and what happened with Newcastle, but if you look at Newcastle, not this season, just past the season before, Newcastle were in the Champions League. They had endless injuries, and they fell off. This season, they obviously fell off. And I think the same's happened to Aston Villa as well. I think that they fell off. Where Newcastle this season they've managed to get back in because of the Champions League. So I agree wholeheartedly with Craig. Emery is a really decent manager. He's got a good pedigree. To take Aston Villa to the quarterfinals of the Champions League in their first return to it, that is not to be underestimated. The Champions League is so hard a competition to get actually even into. Never mind get to the quarterfinals. So, and Newcastle didn't even get anywhere to that stage. So if you're putting Eddie and Emery in a bracket where you could judge both, Eddie has had a great season this season with no European football, and Emery's went to that point. So fair play to them, and they gave PSG a really good game as well, especially at Villa Park. Like that could have turned. There was a couple of moments that could have turned, and it could be a different semi-final. So for me, I think Villa have had a very, very good season, and big up John McGinn as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And especially after losing Douglas Luiz, who was probably their second to best
100%.
player the season before as well. And the replacements not being as great a pedigree as you would say from Juventus, but that was PSR balancing the books on that one. Right, I'm going to jump straight to you, Magic, on this one. Nottingham Forest. This one hurt me a little bit because I was very much liking Forest being up there, and they kind of fell away, didn't they? I mean, I think Nuno's done an amazing job with them, don't get me wrong, but they really did drop away, and I kind of feel sorry for them in respect to that. What was your thoughts on them?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they looked, at some point, it did look like, they were definitely going to finish third, like top 5 should definitely be, you'd sort of have expected them to get it. But then if you look at it with like a bit more hindsight, Forest finished 7th, in the end, right? That's still unbelievable. Like I thought they'd be around the relegation zone. So on one hand, you're like, the fans who were probably expecting a relegation battling season, maybe a bit better because, they probably knew the talent of the team a bit more than non-Forest fans did, right? But I don't think any of them would have expected them to get any form of Europe. So on that level, it's great. But on another level, if they'd have beaten Chelsea on the final day, I think everyone would have been a lot happier, including me, because Brighton would have got Europe. So on a Villa level.
There was a special game between you guys this season as well, wasn't there?
The 2-2 draw at the Amex, maybe? Is that what you're talking about? Can't think of any others.
No. There was something around February time. I remember watching it on my birthday and really enjoying it. What was it? About 7 or 8-0, wasn't it? I wanted to give this one to you, mate, because because I've given Craig shit. I've given You've been quite protected tonight and all that.
And just keep in mind, we beat Nottingham Forest 5-0 the week before. That's true.
You guys were on the humble arse whipping, mate. Let's put it that way.
It was bad. We decided, let's play one centre midfielder. Against the counter-attacking team.
Who was you playing? You was playing Hinselwood, wasn't you, that day?
It was Hinchwood, who it turns out is apparently a striker, which would have been nice to know earlier.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about him as a striker because I've been on the receiving end of that little bell end, and I want him to replace Yves Bissouma as well. So you guys can he could say as a striker on that one, but no, it was definitely a difficult game for you guys, but that was kind of a highlight of their season. That's when people started believing, I think, that they could sort of push towards Europe. And I mean, they did get, I believe, Conference League, didn't they?
Yes.
Or Europa League.
I think, depending on what happens with the whole Crystal Palace meeting at the moment, like if Palace end up getting booted out, I don't know if Forest get promoted and then it puts Brighton in conference, or if they or Forest stay in conference and Brighton go up. But either way, it's Forest fans must be really excited about a European trip, and I think Nuno's style could really work in European football. Conference League, there's no reason why they can't make a run at winning it. And
no, exactly.
7 was humbling. It was very humbling. We ended up winning like 6 in a row or something after that. So it don't know, but yeah, I mean, they're a great side. They're the style they play. Everyone knows what they're going to do, but only very few amount of teams seem to be able to stop it. So I think that's a sign of a good team.
No, I completely agree, mate. Right, let's jump on to Brighton Magic, and I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to start it out with you for this. From Mark's mate, Des. How much do you want for Matoma?
Oh, well, I mean, classic Brighton, right? We've got to massively overcharge for all our players. That's kind of how we do things. So now, I mean, the number that I'm hearing is like 50 odd, but I think he's worth more than that to us because he's so essential to the way we play. So I mean, I personally want 80 plus for him because I think he's so integral to us. Like João Pedro is sadly looking like he's on his way out. But that and as much as he's given me some great moments, I think Mitoma is more important to the team. So I'd want more for Mitoma than we get for Pedro. Would sort of be
that's fair. And what did you think of your season as a whole, mate? Was you impressed? Was you disappointed? Where was your thoughts sort of lying on it?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I'd say positive in terms of like Brighton because we finished in the top half, which is still something that's a big deal for us. It's our second highest league finish ever. And we only just missed out on Europe. But the thing that's frustrating about it is there were some games that we massively dropped it, and we could have been right up there with Forest and Villa. Like we were 2-0 up against Wolves with like 5-10 minutes to go, 2-2. We were 2-0 up against Leicester away, like in the 80th minute or something, drew 2-2. Like there was many different games where we should have got more points than we did, and so it meant that when we got other impressive results, like we beat City at home. I mean, we managed to take 6 points off Bournemouth, which I don't think many teams did this year, and stuff like that. And it sort of meant that we couldn't capitalise on that like we should have. So positive, but a little frustrating. It's sort of, I think, the overall sentiment. There was a little bit of Hurtsler out stuff coming from some sections of fans, but I think that's quieting down a little bit now. But I think if it doesn't go well next season, you'll hear that quite a lot.
No, that's definitely fair. Right, let's jump on to... We're going to go to Bournemouth. And Craig, it's only fair to let Mark talk about this. What do you think? No, I will let you have this, mate. I think it's only fair. Obviously, a very good season for you guys in parts. Yes. But I think Iraola got exposed and shown to be a little bit naive, like Postecoglou at times, sticking with a very similar lineup. It sort of ran away from you guys at the end, didn't it, a little bit?
The thing is, Kallum, we played such a high intensity. And, you know, we, as everybody knows, we beat Arsenal twice. We almost beat you twice, beat City at home. First time we've ever done that. You know, Saints fans were trying to make it out that they, you know, won the fucking World Cup when they got their 1 point against Man City, and it was just like, we got 3. You know, Man United, to be honest, you know, really should have beaten them twice. You know, it was a very, very good season, but like you say, I think there was some naivety with regards to changing the formation, changing, you know, certain aspects which would have potentially got us some results. Yes, we got fucking beat by Wolves again at home. We seem to be able to beat them at Molineux every single time. You know, probably just because we wanted to actually run around the pitch to get out of that dump as quickly as possible. But, you know, when we actually welcome them down here, they seem to always enjoy their time by the seaside. But, yeah, to be fair, it was a good season. But halfway through the season, of course, we had Dean Howson playing fantastically, Milos Kerkez playing fantastic, Zabania playing fantastic, Semenyo, Cliver, Evan Nilsson, Ryan Christie, Lewis Cook. Who else do we want to name? Might as well name everybody, to be honest. I knew that this was going to be a problem. And the problem was instead of having that pipe dream, oh yeah, we'd love European football, it was like, oh fuck, this is now a necessity because otherwise we're going to lose these players. And seeing as we didn't get it, unless Crystal Palace get kicked out of the Europa League. And, say, for example, Brighton have done something wrong. I don't know what you would have done wrong, to be honest, Magic, which will allow us in. We are going to get ripped to fucking shreds, put nicely, Kallum. Howson's gone. Kirkes is pretty much on his way to Liverpool. I'm pretty sure when he gets up there, he'll probably wish he'd come back. Could come back and not sign the contract, but he's probably already signed it beforehand. Just so
Barney could be off to PSG, couldn't he?
Yeah, Rome, the city of love. So Barney might enjoy that. Hey. We could lose even more people, but the one main one, let's not lose Andoni Iraola. Bill Foley has been over. He's trying to negotiate a contract with Iraola. I'm a little bit worried that there's fucking radio silence now. I'm hoping in the coming weeks we'll hear something and say, oh yeah, he's signed for the next 8 years. Oh no, sorry, we're not at Chelsea. To be honest, it would be nice if we can tie him down to a longer contract. I'm hoping a great season, an enjoyable season we'll all remember, but a season that kind of went off the rails, and we're going to get picked to shreds for.
No, that's the problem. When you are a club like Bournemouth, you do get picked up, you have your success, and you do get pulled apart for it. But you've still got them 2 wins over Arsenal this year to put in your locker.
Exactly. And now we've got a state-of-the-art training facility. And we're even going to do something with Dean Court. We're not going to move us to a stadium. We don't want a soulless bowl. Sorry, West Ham. So effectively, we are. Are you
getting a running track? Are you getting a running track to go for Dean Court? Are you putting that around the outside?
No. Actually, there is a running track at Dean Court. It's fucking outside the stadium. It's actually its own little running track. I don't think anybody ever uses it because it's a bit run down, derelict, and apart from kids on their bikes. But yeah, we won't be moving it inside the stadium. I can assure you of that. Firstly, we want to see the fucking pitch, and secondly, Dean Court's quite nice and hostile as well. So yeah.
No, that's definitely fair, mate. Right, Mark, I'm going to come straight to you, mate. We are going to West London, to Brentford. For me, an impressive season, and unfortunately, it looks like they're going to be picked apart like Bournemouth are this summer as well for their success. Give me your thoughts on this season, and Thomas Frank, please, mate.
Thomas Frank, Brentford are absolutely amazing side. I think they're punching. Bournemouth have been, I would have loved to have spoken Bournemouth. I think they've been absolutely phenomenal this season. But for Brentford, for Bournemouth to do what they did against, to get above Brentford in itself is an achievement. Thomas Frank, I would actually take him as an Arsenal manager. If I wasn't going to have Arteta, if Arteta was going, I would actually have to. I would actually have.
I've just seen the comments.
Fucking David, you're on form tonight, mate. You are on form. Look at fucking Mark's gone. Craig's gone like a cherry as well. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So, for me, Thomas Frank, I actually rate him. I think he is the one guy. See, Bournemouth manager, I'm sorry to say this, Craig, but he's Arteta's mate, and they come from the same school. They played in the youth team together, or played with them younger, and they came through together. And I think it's something similar. See, Thomas Frank, I just think gives that something else. I will be looking at your manager next year, Craig, but Thomas Frank, I actually think he has produced it. See, if you give him the players, I actually think you'd get a better tune out with him than most Premier League managers. So that's my take, Kallum.
No, that's fair, mate. Obviously, David Clark is a Spurs fan, and Thomas Frank has been linked to us quite a bit as one of the favourites to take over if Ange is sacked. Said he's lost in the last 2 seasons, lost 33 games at Brentford. So there's no upgrade on Ange. I don't think there's any good solution to the Ange issue, but we will cover that later on. Craig, can you cover me for 5, please, mate?
Yeah,
just going through the table. Cheers. I've just got to jump off quickly. So you can continue doing Brentford, or you can go to Fulham with the guys. So I'll leave it up to you, mate.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So, of course, Thomas Frank, yeah, probably my least favourite person. Just keep tapping the fucking watch. I don't know if anybody saw the playoffs, but yeah, Magic, can you see Frank going to Spurs? Or do you think he'll turn him down like, we're hoping Iriola might as well?
Yeah. I mean, sadly, I've been in the position of clubs like Brentford, Bournemouth, us. Like when you do well, people come knocking, and it's surprising how many people will go pretty easily, and it sort of makes you look at them a bit differently. I think there's a chance if you're Thomas Frank, you're sort of thinking, have I taken Brentford as far as I can?
Yeah.
Which is like, what the next step's Europe really. It's like, do you think you can take them to Europe? They're losing in Mwepu, or Boomy, or have you say it. They could lose Visser as well. That's a lot of that's a lot to lose. And so I wouldn't be that surprised if he went. It's a shame because I heard a couple of months ago, I heard they wanted Glasner, and that talk seems to have quietened down a bit, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they announced that Thomas Frank's the new Spurs manager, I wouldn't be surprised at all, and I don't think it would be a bad appointment either.
Fair enough. Thomas Frank, for me, keeps tapping his watch. He's a proper wanker, in my honest opinion. We will never forgive you, Thomas, for that playoff semi-final. Yeah, I think he was just, he got it spot on. Plus, we had Jonathan Woodgate in charge. But let's go on to the Cottagers. Of course, Marco Silva's team finished on 54 points, a goal difference of absolutely sweet FA. 54 goals scored, 54 conceded. So lots of 54s. Looked like they might have got 8th place at one point and then slipped all the way back down to 11th. I tell you what, Mark, what do you make of Fulham and what he's done there?
Yeah, I thought, do you know what? They were a tricky team when Arsenal played them. Sorry, I have to use Arsenal as a reference because when I start dropping under the 9th place teams in the league, I'm not being funny, but they're not really worth talking about. But I will speak about Fulham. I'm just making my point before I get to Spurs. So, no, Fulham were tricky too. And Marco's doing a great job there. ESR, obviously, from Arsenal went there. He's still finding his feet. There was moments of magic from the guys as well. A bit like Bournemouth. I felt like they were really tricky players. Just like I dreaded, I honestly dreaded playing against them. I also against you guys as well. And Brighton for that. Not Spurs, but I honestly did dread playing against them, and I thought they had a good season, but they're just in our team that's like almost came up the traps really well, and then just like slipped away again. And I looked. There was games this season, and I'm not just saying it because Craig, you're on or Magic's on. There was games this season where I thought, like, looking at Liverpool, where could Liverpool trip up? And I was looking at the likes of Bournemouth with the form that you guys were on. I looked at Brighton because Brighton's hit and miss. You do not know what you're getting. You could get beat 2-0 or you smash them 8-0. It's like it's honestly, it's just it is that be Brighton. And then the Fulham is that actually really, really tricky ground to go to, and they can also be really tricky also at home. And so for me, I think they've done really well. I just think the teams above done exceptional. You had Nottingham Forest just spring into life. And I
Yeah.
think that's just pushed maybe some teams down. But the level of the Premier League for me this season went up as a whole, bar the top three. The rest of it progressed massively this year. So Fulham's just on the receiving end of it, unfortunately.
But Magic, here's a thing. People have been signing players from Brighton for ages. You seem to be the feeder club for Chelsea. Of course, it seems like we are going to get picked to shreds. Brentford are going to get picked to shreds. Fulham might be all right though, mightn't they?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that is one of the upsides. Every cloud has a silver lining and all that. Of dropping off as well as they did is that people won't look at Fulham players as much as they'll look at Bournemouth and Brentford and Brighton players, really. I also think, it's sort of tough with Fulham because some players you look at, like Calvin Bassey, like I'm just going off my memory from when we've played him. Calvin Bassey looks brilliant. Yeah. I was surprised by Iwobi with how much like actual talent he's got. Like he's some player. I thought like he was good. But with the, I'm not sure if any of you, because why would you watch Brighton versus Fulham? When they played us, Iwobi got this unbelievable assist. So they've got some real talent in there, but I don't know, I sort of feels like, particularly, like who would I rather play out of Bournemouth, Brentford and Fulham? I'd rather play Fulham. So I think they're probably going to be all right in terms of players getting poached. But that doesn't mean they can't build on where they are and push forward next year.
It feels like they're a little bit of a collective, good collective. Whereas I think ourselves and Brentford, as well as yourselves as well, Magic, of course. I think we have got some real talent, some youngsters who are going to really shine. Fulham, a little bit of an older team. And I think as a collective, not as individuals, maybe they're not worth as much or not seen as players that could be poached and, be put straight into a team like Arsenal or Chelsea or Liverpool. But what they will see them as is it's when a team comes together. And there's been lots of teams like that throughout the year. You start picking players off them and those players just don't do anything. Whereas I think, for the other three teams, us two and Brentford, I think, personally, we have got some very, very good, talented players.
That's 100%. That's 100%, Craig. Sorry to cut in, but I hear every word that you're saying because this person right now, I want Cliver. I would love him to come into Arsenal. I honestly think he would make that jump, and your teams are going to get picked apart again. And you're quite rightly say, but the problem that Fulham's got is where Brighton and Bournemouth are going to get money in, where you could kind of try to rebuild and move again to move forward. Fulham don't have that at all. No. So they might find themselves next season, like if we just be players aging, slipping down the league and getting closer to that relegation battle.
Yeah. Fair enough. I like what David's put, but I can't put it on the screen because Callum's not here. So when Kallum comes back, we can stick them all on the screen. Oh, there we are. Kallum is back. I don't know what he's doing in the background, but Fulham are skint because their shooting is crap, but they have lost hundreds of footballs in the River Thames. You're right, Kallum? Did you just polish the head?
Yeah, I
went
for a little bit of polish up, mate. I was thinking about what prosthetic to get for me tooth as well. I'm thinking maybe gold. I think the pimp look would suit me, to be honest. I'm going to get the furry overcoat, the cane to go with it, the big hat as well. It'd be fucking wonderful, won't it?
Looks smashing, mate.
Kallum, can I just say that we've got down to 12 and we've not reached Tottenham yet?
Oh, yeah, actually, that's a good point.
I know, we are getting there. We're getting there, but we still won a trophy, so you lot didn't. There we go. I will keep falling back onto that. Right, let's jump on to Crystal Palace. And this one, I've actually watched Palace live this year, and I think they was outstanding at times, to be honest. So I'm going to cover Palace, if you guys don't mind. So they had a very up and down season. They started out very slowly. Spurs, I will give it to them, gave Palace their first points at Selhurst Park. We did get their season going after I think they lost about 4 games on the bounce, and Dr. Tottenham turned up and Dr. Tottenham revived them. So it was an interesting one. But no, I mean, watching players like Mateta, Eze, Tyrek Mitchell, Walton, Gahey, LaCroix as well, was an absolute class act when they beat Spurs 2-0 at the end of the season. And you have to say that Oliver Glasner has continued how he did from last year. And David Clark, I know he would probably back me on this, but yeah, excellent side, the most athletic players in the Prem, and an excellent coach. I know that if Spurs were to sack Ange, I was advocating for Glasner to be our replacement over Frank, over Iraola, over Silva. I just think there's something about him. But no, very, very good season for Palace. They did come away with an FA Cup win, and that day they absolutely played City off the park. City had no clue or idea what was going on. So no, very positive for Palace, especially after losing Elise last year. They obviously lost Joachim Andersen to Fulham as well, and their recruitment was very positive. I know that Magic probably ain't going to be happy with me praising them on all of this, but I mean, Magic, I will just come to you, and I know there is the rivalry, but was you impressed with what you saw with Palace, mate, or can you not say that even through your gritted teeth and heart of hearts?
All I'll say is I might have posted a stupid thing when they beat Fulham in the quarters saying that I'd start posting Palace content and name myself after Mateta on Twitter for a month if they won the FA Cup. And now I'm halfway through it, and life's not got any better, really. But they had to. I mean, yeah, the bitterness in me definitely wants to say, well, you know, Dean Henderson got away with handballing it outside the box, and all that. But I mean, I hate to say it, but they turned up and City didn't. Did they have an easier run to the final than a lot of other teams? Yes, but you know, you can only be who you play. So yeah, I mean, I think for them, it's obviously a massive season. It's their best season ever, because still came 12th, but this time they've got something to show for it. So
no, that's definitely fair, mate. Right, let's jump up to. We're going to go to Merseyside. We've done.
Move on.
Because this one's coming to you, you dozy bastard.
There's fuck all in here. Does anybody? Hang on. Yeah.
Anyone know from Dan? Anyone know where Dan is?
Hello, Dan. Hello. You don't even care. Okay.
Oh well, we've got to do it.
Yes.
And obviously, they did have their. They did get through. They then sacked their manager, and they got David Moyes to come in and resurrect their season. They are getting their new stadium as well, so they do have stuff to look forward to, especially under Fenway Group. They are another team that will be losing balls into a river next year. Just won't be the Thames, it'll be the River Mersey. So it will be interesting. But Craig, give me your views on the Everton season, please, mate.
I honestly thought at the start of the season, playing like they did, that they would go down. They were fucking terrible, put nicely. We went up there. Somehow we gifted them a 2-goal head start. You know, on FIFA, anybody play FIFA? You know, when you get set a team, give them a handicap. So we gave Everton a handicap. We also set it that we were only going to start playing after 80 minutes. And we still fucking won. Honestly, it was like that. You know, we might as well have given Everton the handicap. It was fucking funny as fuck. To be perfectly honest, we didn't play well for 80 minutes, but it didn't really matter. And to be honest, a lot of teams were going up there and, wiping the floor with them. It was fucking hilarious, put nicely. And then it come to the point where they had enough, and it was us that kind of influenced this as well. They come down to Dean Court. And of course, Sean Dyche, everybody was getting a little bit fed up with him, apart from every other fan in the Premier League. It was just fucking funny just to watch. And literally, they could have been there for fucking 2 whole weeks. We could have been not made a single substitution, and they still would not have scored. Honestly, literally, they did not have a shot on target. What was really frustrating about that game is because they just defended. They literally just defended. And they even defended after we scored the goal. You thought, oh, actually, Everton have now got to come at us. Nope, they just sat back. And at that point, I turned round and, there was Everton fans going, oh, we only lost 1-0. We only lost 1-0. Yes, but you could not fucking score for toffee, literally. Honestly, it was fucking terrible. And then they got David Moyes, and it kind of just all fell into place. And we realised that actually they don't have a very bad side at all. So if Sean Dyche was there for the whole season, they would be opening this new stadium, this new plastic dome in the Championship. But, David Moyes has done David Moyes things and, kept him up. To be honest, Everton fans really appreciate him. West Ham appreciate every manager that makes them shit apart from David Moyes. So long may they continue doing that. But yeah, Everton, it was one of those movies that you thought, wow, this is really, really, really fucking hilarious. Really hilarious. And then it's got that really sad ending at the end because you think, do you know what? I would, my ex from years ago, the Everton fan, it would just be fucking funny if they went down, wouldn't it?
And that's the thing, the amount of times
I like them, really. To be honest, I do like Everton, really. Sorry, Dan. Well, I just think it's funny taking the piss out of you.
Don't. David Clark's gone. Everton couldn't score in a brothel, but when David the Boring came in, they just suffocated teams to death. Well, let's put it this way. I've got another one. Everton couldn't get a wank in a brothel. Let's put it that way. So, on that note, we shall move.
Honestly, Kallum, they wouldn't even be able to find it. They wouldn't even be able to find it. They'd be looking around and thinking, where the fuck's it gone?
Oh, mate, it's brilliant. But no, I mean, me and you did sit with Dan many a times this season and we did rip into each other. But the good thing is me and Craig are good mates with Dan, so it does kind of balance out on that. Right, Mark, I'm going to come to you. We're going to Stratford and we're going to the running track of the Premier League. We're going to the Olympic Stadium. This was a very interesting one.
Have you not touched Tottenham yet? Are we still not at Tottenham?
No, we're still going. We're on 14th at the moment. We're still going.
The stuff Tottenham's not mentioned. Fucking hell, man.
No, we're still going. We're still going, and we're at an hour and a half, so we'll get there. We will get there. We're not far off now, mate.
I tell you what, West Ham are like the cast of the Jeremy Kyle show when you go into that stadium. Honestly, he's a West Ham fan as well. It is just like that this season, wasn't it? It was fucking hilarious in itself again.
No, exactly.
Crack open the popcorn.
Mark, so obviously West Ham went through 2 managers in a season. They thought Lopetegui was going to be their saviour. Turns out he's just another glamorous name and not much else. Their transfer window was a diabolical joke, spending nearly 40 million on Fulkirk, who was never really that good, even when he was in Germany at his age as well. And then brought in Graham Potter to sort of kind of steady the ship, and we'll call him for his job every week from there. Give me just an overview on West Ham, because it was very turgid for them. Let's put it that way, wasn't it?
It was 100%. I'm just making the point, by the way, that like we're now down to 14th and we've still not spoke about Spurs. We're still like going down in the elevator when we got there. But no, West Ham. West Ham is like there's something absolutely rotten after they won that the Conference League within their club. They have got like proper players. You've got Kudus there, you've got Bowen there. For me, they could walk into top clubs of the Premier League. I think both of them could actually walk into top clubs of the Premier League. And as you say, if you're sacking 2 managers within 1 season, there is something really fundamentally wrong going on at your football club, massively. So, yeah. The stadium's a dog shit. You can't see you barely see the stadium. Yeah, get the Olympics back. It's the best thing it's ever. I'm not even going to read that.
I will read that. It's the Gypsy Stadium. They are squatters in someone's house, scrounging off the poorest council in England. Well, Arsenal have been squatting in North London for a number of years as well. So look, you've got something in common with them, haven't you?
You could fuck right off.
Oh, I love you boys. But no, you're completely right. My father-in-law is a West Ham fan as well. So, I mean, my partner, she don't like football at all, but me and my father-in-law proper go at it when he's about, and we rip the shit into each other for this stuff. And you are completely right, though. There are some class players in that West Ham team, and they did have the unfortunate accident with Mikel Antonio this year. Luckily, he is recovering.
I forgot about that. Do you think is he going to come back and actually play football again?
There's a good chance he could be back by Christmas. Because the man is the man's a beast. I mean, literally, he's built up more than RoboCop now, but literally, he will most likely come back, and he will still be one of their best players. I mean, that man is a monster. And I mean, I remember a couple of years ago when Spurs looked at Mikel Antonio, and it was on the season where Harry Kane had just had his breakthrough, and they went, how much for Mikel Antonio? And they went, well, we'll swap you Mikel Antonio for Harry Kane. And I was just like, fucking hell. That's how highly they rate West Ham, rate Mikel Antonio and all that.
If West Ham get back into Europe, he might not be able to play in Europe again. Just go play an airport because of the mechanical parts of his body. Is that bad? Is that too much?
No, it's a little bit touch and cloth, but no. I mean, let's put it this way: there are definitely players that I think all 4 of our teams, if we could get them off of West Ham, I think that probably
100%.
Spurs would take Bowen any day of the week. I think Arsenal would probably take Kudus to play as another option again alongside Odegaard, or even up front he could be an option. You played Merino there, so I mean Kudus couldn't do any worse than that, could he? Either. I mean, they've got some really good players there. I think Fulcrook, knowing our luck, he played brilliantly for Bournemouth as well. You'd put the ball on him and he'd just bounce off him into the net as well. And Brighton had just pick up the West Ham Youth Academy and turn them up to £100 million players, and then what you'll do, you'll sell them to Chelsea for a value that's 50% more. Literally, you just bought that geezer off of Sunderland, haven't you, for like 10 million? You'll probably sell him to Chelsea for 100 million next year. Wouldn't be fucking worth it, but he'll go.
They're just renaming Brighton Hove Albion Chelsea Academy.
Well, remember Liverpool did it with Southampton, didn't they, all them years ago? But they weren't buying youth players. They were buying fucking Ricky Lambert. Ricky Lambert didn't even have a leg at the time, and yet they went and bought him. They bought him, Lallana, they got Van Dijk, everything. But no. Right, let's move on. And we're going up to Manchester. we have got to go to Old Trafford. Magic, I'm going to come to you on this one because I know me and Mark are probably rip into these guys, and Craig is just nowhere near neutral enough for this one.
I tell you what, is it still leaking?
It's still leaking, and it's got a dead rat underneath the seat as well. Still, so
great, fantastic.
Magic, obviously. Ten Hag was sacked after they extended his contract, and Amorim came in. There wasn't much improvement, was there, apart from the Europa League run? Spurs did beat Man United 4 times this year, and that's saying something as well. So, I mean, let's put it this way. What was your thoughts on United's season as a whole, please, mate?
I mean, they got worse. They got worse when they sacked Ten Hag, which it didn't seem like they could get any worse, but they did. I mean, trying to give not just like a opinion where I'm just saying how bad they are, but it's tough not to. I mean, Diallo looked good in periods. I mean, if you look at Bruno Fernandes' stats, they'd have been they'd have finished below Spurs without Bruno Fernandes, 100%. And so they're in a terrible state. I mean, I don't know how they're affording these transfers of Cunha and Boomer and all them. They want Estupiñán off us as well. I think they're in real danger of, for lack of a better term, becoming Everton.
Everton have got a stadium that doesn't leak, bro. I think that's
true.
Everton's an upgrade.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
If Manchester United was a newspaper, they'd be the big issue. Fucking hell, they're being given out for free outside the local co-op. Jesus Christ! Oh my God. David Clark's proper on one tonight. I mean, God knows when we get to Spurs what he's going to say. He'll be brilliant. But no, I mean, when you think United do have some talented players, including Fernandes, Garnacho, Diallo, Lenny Euro. Their goalkeeper can't catch a cold to save his life.
Honestly.
I mean, surely their only way is up, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but I've thought that before about them. That's the thing. So it's I don't know. It's they were so good for so long, with Sir Alex and all that, to the point where their badges were still them winning trebles with Jose. So it's they're getting worse and worse and worse. And I mean, everyone knows it. Something massive has got to change. The new owners came in. Not sure they've helped things. They're just cutting the budget for letting the staff come to the Europa League final, so they can afford Cunha. So it's I don't. It's got to get better, because if it doesn't get better, I mean, there's a world where they get relegated in the next 5 years if it doesn't turn around, which is mental, which is absolutely mental. Yeah. But if they don't turn this around, that's where they're headed. So yeah, I mean, I reckon Man United fans, they should be very scared, and they need Amorim to work out, because he might get sacked this year if it doesn't, because they can't afford to not.
They can't keep changing the manager. I think they've got to stick by him, because that is the biggest problem that Manchester United have got, is they keep changing. But, no doubt, don't get me wrong, I think that Ten Hag was shite, but, his intentions and his idea was good. Ajax have got one of the best academies, in Europe. Hence the reason why most of the Dutch team come from Ajax. What Manchester United have done is taken a load of... No, actually, what Manchester United have done is they've taken the shit ones from Ajax's youth team. So they've gone, right, okay, who's shit? Right, okay, you're coming to Manchester. Ajax probably just rubbing their hands with glee.
But then it's sorry, you've got to say, are they the shit ones? Because even when they sign Anthony, who looked genuinely awful, he goes to Betis and looks pretty good. When they leave Man United, they look like better players.
See, the thing is, for Ten Hag, I actually think that if he went into Brighton, or if he went into Bournemouth either, any of the two clubs, I actually think that he would progress both clubs to another level. I don't think that he is that bad a manager. But what the issue is walking into a changing room where stars think that they're above the football club, and he's not able to deal with that. And I think Spurs have suffered that. Arsenal suffered that before Arteta came in. We had Aubameyang, other players. I'm not just picking on Aubameyang, but we had other players as well. And you have to get rid of these players to elevate your football club again. And I just don't think that Man United gave them the time. And I think the issues are Man United and Chelsea, massively, by the way, and it's not because they're a North London club. I hate Spurs a lot more than I hate Chelsea, but they have to spend 1.5 billion to actually paper over the cracks within the football club. I actually believe that if you got a good football club like a Bournemouth right now, I think you're a well-run club, and you bring Mudryk from Chelsea, who's flopped. Arsenal were after him. I think if you got Mudryk right now, I guarantee you get a tune-out with him next season. Chelsea will not get a tune-out with him because it's just so bad a run club. Man United are the exact same. And sorry, I'm not going to speak too early because we're still up 15th, I think, and we still have to get down the table to find Spurs.
Oh, don't worry, we're getting there. We are getting there. Right, Craig, I'm going to come straight to you, but on just one last note, on a serious note, there are a lot of ex-Man United players that are very good, but I can't cope with the fact they're playing for United. Maybe it is just the pressure and the history of the club, and a lot of them think they're better than they are, or they just don't sit staff. So no, I definitely think Mark is right alongside David Clark on that. Right, let's go to Wolves. Wolves, very dire straits. Then they got their new manager in, and they did get some very good wins, didn't they, Craig? I mean, it's probably not as positive as they would have liked it to be, but I think that they did survive. They didn't really sign anyone last summer. I don't think it was that bad for them, was it?
No, my mate, to be honest, I showed myself up. My mate Gary wasn't very good, was he? Gary O'Neill, lovely guy, but I think he showed that he was out of his depth in the end. And I think they made the right call. When we went up there, it was like a ping pong match, but when the ball's going, where you can't win a ping pong match, they were scoring plenty of goals but conceding fucking shitloads. When the new manager come in, which I keep forgetting what his bloody name is.
I can't remember him. I just know he goes for pints with the fans.
Yeah, do you know what? He seems like a good bloke, and for doing that as well. To be honest, Wolves fans are all on the beer, so they have to be the Wolves fans. But have you ever been to Wolverhampton? But yeah,
only once.
Yeah, and that was enough. Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, mate, I think that they had a better squad than where they were. Early on in the year, had they got a better squad than Manchester United. Personally, if it wasn't for my mate Gary, they would have finished above Manchester United this season. Wolves, I think they'll be all right next year. I think that they will sort out some players. One of the biggest problems is Fosun at Wolves, their owner. Of course, very, very, very strange ownership situation there. Pissed off a load of fans as well. He doesn't seem to give us two shits. I think they probably want to see him out the door. But even though they didn't finish above Manchester United, they did finish above another team, which I'm sure we'll come to.
Ipswich. Ipswich. It was Ipswich. They finished above Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester, weren't it?
No, you've missed one out. Eat
shit. No, we are getting straight on to them. But just the last one before we do jump on to Spurs. How do you think Wolves will deal with Cunha and Ryan Out-Nouri going potentially to the Man United clubs respectively, or the Manchester clubs respectively?
I think Cunha will be a big loss,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think that they have got players to fill in there. I think they'll need to take it a little bit back to basics, but there's a good feeling there at that football club again now. So yeah, we shall see what Wolves can do.
No, definitely fair, mate. Right, on to 18th place in the Premier League, and it. No, we're missing out 17th. We're missing 17th. No, that was Monday. That's Monday. That's the Spurs podcast. We don't have to do a Spurs. No. 17th place, it was Tottenham, and it was a very difficult season that I think if we hadn't have won the Europa League, we would have sacked our manager by then. He did prove that he was very naive in some respects of playing in the Premier League. Yeah, well, he's not a clown. He's not a clown. Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? Stop hiding. Don't be a child. I know you're doing it because you're probably just got a big old grin on your face like Mark has at the moment, right in the bottom.
I'm not hiding, mate.
No, I know you're not. No,
I've won everything in my second season, mate.
Yeah, and then the third season's better. Third season's always better, mate. I don't know how. Let's put it this way: our league form could not have got any worse, apart from being relegated, and we have to be realistic with that. That we got some big wins under our belt, but we had a hell of a time. Yes, we had the injury crisis, but that doesn't excuse it. We were appalling in the Premier League, and we have to be realistic about that. We proved how naive his football is in the Premier League, to be honest.
We even helped you out. We even tried to help you out, and you were still that shite. You know, we thought, well, we'll sell Solanke to you. You know, Solanke could have gone to Arsenal. He could have gone to
United.
Well, no, I wouldn't fucking go there. Let's be honest. Going to Manchester United nowadays is thinking, looks a bit like Margot Robbie. Oh, hang on, it's got chlamydia. But yeah, we even tried to help you out, and you still fucked it up. But the biggest problem, as you know, we say, Spurs. Very, very well-run business.
On the footballing side, a lot to be desired.
Yeah, exactly. It's Daniel Levy. You know, to be honest, Daniel Levy will probably sell the Europa League trophy just for a couple of £1 million.
I heard Arsenal are looking to buy a trophy. So are you guys in the market for it?
Just give Daniel a call.
I'll let Craig talk, and then you can come to me, and I'll wire in there, bro. It's all right. I'm
hang on.
Ready.
Hello, Daniel. It's not the Everton one. It's not the Everton one. Yeah. What? No, we don't want the Europa League trophy. No. Don't be daft. No, Daniel, we don't want the Europa League. We've got the League 2 trophy back from all those years ago. Yeah, now fuck off.
Oh, don't. Obviously, Des was going to chime in. How do you keep your job after so many losses? Just who we are, mate. Fucking hell. Here we go. And then David Clark, Spurs. Let's see. If Spurs were an army, would be the French. Surrendered before Christmas. Opposing armies found holes in our defensive line. Literally, it's like it's 1939. The Germans have driven through the Ardennes. They've gone round the Maginot Line, and we've got encircled, and our back line has collapsed. As always, we're that far forward that we've left so much space behind us. That is literally the epitome of our. It's just the epitome of our season. It's.
Hold on. Are you sure that Bonnie Blue isn't a Spurs fan?
I'm very sure.
No, because everybody scores. Everybody scores. Everybody gets a result.
Well, I don't know whether you saw, but she got ejected from Chelsea last weekend and all that. She got fucking kicked out. Even she gets kicked out of Chelsea.
Nottingham, she ran to the stadium. She tried to get into the away end, and they kicked her out.
I'm actually surprised they didn't try and sign her on an 8-year deal.
Don't. Oh, mate. Oh, don't.
Hang on. She needs to play for Brighton first. She needs to go to Brighton, and then they'll try and sign her.
God knows what yours and Magic's internet history is like, because I know me and Mark are sane enough. You lot, God knows what you subscribe to. So on that note, Mark, what do you want to say, mate, before these two derail our show?
Yeah, Carl, can I just say that I've not been in a penthouse for many years, but it's fantastic coming down 15 floors to get to you.
Well, didn't you know that you guys are in the penthouse? We're the ones that are sweeping out of the car park for you guys. We're the ones that are going around all the Bentleys. We're doing the sweeping up. We've got Brighton, who are serving the lunch. Craig's on the concierge. You guys are just below the penthouse. You guys are on the top floor. Liverpool are in the penthouse. City are the ones that are knocking at your door saying your music's a bit too loud. Can you let us come in and join the party? And then you lot are trying to think, ooh, have Liverpool got canapes and caviar up there or not?
Although saying that, and we'll come to them in a moment. At least Southampton's still the sewage.
Oh, don't.
But I need to touch on your
come in, mate. Go for it.
Can I just say that I think it's fantastic. At the start of the season, I make 3 points on this. Start of the season, rules are in place. You win the Europa League, you get promoted to Champions League. Don't change it during the season. I've seen some waffle on the internet. What a load of shit. You win it, you deserve to be in the Champions League. It's the rules. And second point is PGMOL, learn from this. If you kick the ball out, you kick the fucking ball out. If it's game 1, game fucking 18, 36, I don't care. It's a yellow card. Put your rules in place and make it solid. So that goes across all aspects. However, it was a very charitable Europa League this year. No teams dropping down from the Champions League. 16th and 15th now and 18th. No,
17th, yeah.
Yeah, in the league, in the Premier League, in the final of that competition. I'm sorry. If I was a Spurs fan, I'd be actually embarrassed. And if I was a Man United fan, I'd be even more embarrassed. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not trying to wind you guys up.
You're right.
I honestly think the rules are rules at the start of the competition. However, but what I do like about the Europa League, and I think moving forward, I think it's going to be brilliant because it's going to give teams like Bournemouth, Brighton, the opportunity, if they get there, that they could actually go in and win this competition, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. Honestly, fantastic. But for your two clubs this season to be representing that competition was absolutely. If I was an Arsenal fan, I was embarrassed at 8th. To be all the way down there for Man United and Tottenham is absolutely nothing but an absolute disgrace. But fair play. Your biggest thing that's came at your stadium since Beyonce, so congratulations, bro.
Well, there is that. But no, some very interesting comments from Des. I think that it's not Levy, it's Enoch. Enoch are the problem, but Ange has to show flexibility when it comes to it. It's only team that I know that doesn't play a high or low block. No, we play an inverted block. We play inside ourselves, and we play with ourselves. So let's put it that way. And that's what Craig's going to be doing tonight, because his missus will look at him and think, "Not you again." Right. obviously a big up from Harry. So thank you, Harry, for getting us all together on here for this laugh tonight. He is doing his GCSEs, so give him all the love and support with that, and go and like and subscribe to the channel. David Clark, Chelsea, the high-level prostitutes. So they are the ones that are facilitating Liverpool and Arsenal in the penthouse and top floor. I did a hate-along Europa League ITMB, worst final I've ever watched. And David Clark, Mark, sorry, you're talking tosh. You mean those teams who totally foul in the Champions League were allowed to play their joker cards playing another European competition? That's a joke. I'm guessing he's referencing the old format as well. Right, so on that note, let's get into our relegation fodder. It is the 3 teams that came up. 3 teams up, 3 teams down, and unfortunately they are the following. We have Leicester, who sacked Steve Cooper, got Ruud van Nistelrooy after 2 games in charge of Man United, and if anything, tanked their season into a horrible end. Craig,
Yep.
Is there anything nice we can say about Leicester, to be honest? I mean, apart from the fact that they did take 4 points off of Spurs.
Do you know what? Leicester fans were all going, we don't like Steve Cooper. He used to manage Nottingham Forest. And we don't like Steve Cooper. He used to manage Nottingham Forest. And then they thought, oh, well, Ruud van Nistelrooy has managed to get, do well for 2 games. To be honest, the only 2 games that Manchester United looked decent all season. We must get him. And then they realised he was a bit shite. He was effectively the Sol Campbell of management. Maybe not as bad, but Did
you see that prick saying that he should get a knighthood and all that this week?
Yeah.
What a fucking tosspot, Mark! Even you can. Mark, can I just get that just from you quickly? I know Sol, there's a lot of hate between Sol and Spurs fans. I know there's a lot of love between Sol and Arsenal fans. But what shit is he on if he thinks he deserves a knighthood for representing? What has he actually ever done to get a knighthood, to be honest, mate?
He's just fucking a legend, bro. He's an Arsenal legend. Look what he done. Invincible, everything. I give him a knighthood. And he also changed the world of football. He walked from that ugly Seven Sisters all the way across to fucking England and walked in. So, bro, I did knighthood every day of the week. So, 100%. 100%.
Do you know what? I don't think he deserves a knighthood at all.
Why?
To be honest,
because he's doing Sky. He's the fucking face of Sky.
Hold on,
Sky TV at the moment.
Hold on,
that's good. That's good. Look, it's better than the fucking idiots up there.
If this is how knighthoods work, I think there's a form you can fill out on the website of Buckingham Palace. Please do fill it in. Put yours truly. I want to become a sir. What have I done? What have I done that's notable? Built a YouTube channel that spoke to David Icke, Professor Brian Cox. Once come first in an egg and spoon race. I've completed Sonic 3 on 5 separate occasions.
I want evidence of that.
What, Sonic? To be honest, no, actually, yeah, he's completed Sonic 3 on 5 separate occasions. Yep, he deserves a fucking knighthood.
Can you imagine that?
I tell you what, that would be what you call it. Can you imagine? There's old King Charles putting the fucking sword. Please don't slip, King Charles. Otherwise my head's coming clean off. He's tapping it on the shoulders. Everybody goes, "What's this fucker done?" Oh yeah, he completed some computer.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is for Sol Campbell, right? And I honestly, and I think that it does need a bit of gratitude, and I think he has changed the game massively. Now, obviously, me and Kallum will never agree that a Spurs captain comes over to Arsenal Football Club. That's never going to be there. But the hatred between the two clubs is real, and it is very real, and it's very, very intense. But when Sol done that, it was at the start of the Bosman drill. So that in itself, he pissed the Tottenham fans off, not only coming over to Arsenal if you break it down, but at that point, there was still this really, and it's still bad to this day, but there was still that black culture there. And so it's breaking all of that and coming over. So if you like it or you don't like it, I watch back now Man United Arsenal games from that period of time, and I want to laugh at Ruud van Nistelrooy because I remember the missed penalty against Arsenal that would have stopped us being invincible, and Martin Keown's reaction to him. You remember these players for these big, massive moments, but so done a lot more for, I would say, the whole London, Kallum, at that given point. And I think the black culture spread out across the whole of the UK at that point. It's like to stand up against it. Everything changed, and I think Sol was at the heart of that. So, we'll take the piss out of players and we could have fun. I think Sol has actually contributed a hell of a lot to this world, if you like it or not. I really do.
That's fair. That is fair. I will give you that. It's just the way that I think Sol has acted personally sometimes has got a lot to be desired and all that. And it's not even just in football relations. It's just him as a person. He does play the victim card a lot, and I think that's what pisses off. I've spoken to Arsenal and Spurs fans as well. He does sort to play it a lot with that, but no, definitely. Let's get back to the Leicester talk. So David Clark is married to a Leicester lass. Two of his sons are Leicester City season ticket holders, so we've got to be careful how we reference it.
Sorry, David, for being married to Leicester lass, but good luck in the future, bro.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Season tickets come cheap in the Championship, don't they? Let's put it that way. And Lee Carsley is now favourite to take the job. So obviously, Lee Carsley, I believe, is either under 21's England boss or ex under 21's boss. So good coach. Be interesting to see if he maybe utilises more players like Winks and Skip and some other youngsters. Yeah, so Cooper at Leicester never lost more than 2 games on the trot, unlike this current clown. Definitely a fair assessment. Right, let's jump to Ipswich and Magic. I'm going to come to you on this one, mate, because I think me, Craig, and Mark have been talking too much on this. We've all enjoyed watching Ipswich this season on the pod, and I kind of feel sorry for them because at least they gave it a go, didn't they, sort of thing. What was your thoughts about their season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not sure how they ended up below Leicester, you know. Like, Leicester was so bad for so long, and the Ipswich still finished below them. But it sort of looked like if any of the teams were going to make that challenge to push 17th, can't remember who that was, but to push 17th to try and stay up, it was going to be Ipswich. You know, like Delap had sparks. They had like, Amari Hutchinson looked good at times. Was it that Leif Davis had a good start to the season, the left back, but then sort of dropped off the face of the earth after that. Yeah, I felt bad for him. I mean, the jump from League One to the Championship is big enough. So to get back-to-back promotions, it was always going to be like a massive ask, right? So I think if you can if they can just stabilise themselves and not basically sort of do similar to what Luton did. Because Luton also were the sort of main underdogs a couple of years ago, and then they went. Did they end up going down again? I think they did, right?
I think they did. Let me just have a quick look on that quickly. That's League One, so that's not helpful. Let me go back a weekend on live score. For fuck's sake, where are they gone? I'm trying to find the bloody season, and if anything, I'm getting bloody Bundesliga news. I mean, it's kind of telling us that that's probably more interesting than the Premier League. Where have all the Championship games gone? This is a joke.
Yeah, I've just seen it. Yeah, they did go down.
Yeah, the problem with Luton was they paid all their players Premier League wages, and then they didn't want to play for them in the Championship, and they kind of screwed it up.
So it's like Ipswich, it'd be good to see him back.
David, I do live in East Anglia, so I mean I can verify that they do at least drive tractors. But they're not Norwich, so they are not in relationships with their own family members. So at least we are good on that one. Oh, I'm sorry if there are any Norwich fans here. I am only joking on that one. I'm sorry if you do have a little bit of extra webbing in certain places and that you are amphibious now. They are looking for that. They are looking for landing craft. They are reenacting D-Day this Friday. So if you're on the coast and want to go along and join them, see about that. I'm sure Craig can assist with landing craft on the south coast.
Have you ever seen actually?
A hand half full, not a hand half empty.
Oh, don't.
Just descending into the Norwich conversation. Has anybody ever seen? There's a show called Ashens, and what he does is he opens tins and like fucking 100-year-old fucking olives and things like that. I hate olives to start off with, and then tries them. Honestly, that is the sort of things that happens in Norwich. Do you know what I do? Yeah, I do like Norwich as a place, to be fair, but there's a lot of traxers. There's a lot of worse places out there.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, here we go, David Clark. My cousin comes from Norwich and he looks nothing like me. Oh, well, you must be your cousin must be the only person in Norwich who's not directly related to someone directly in their family in one way or another. So, no, we are only joking. But no, Ipswich, we will get back to them. Definitely are ashamed to see them going because they were the underdogs, but they did have at least some good moments in there. Spurs even granted them points as part of that 22. We gave them 3 points. So it's once again Tottenham doing that for them. Right, let's jump to our final relegation contender / relegation champion. I would like to give them the Champions League of relegation, and that is Southampton. Southampton have shown that teams can get close to how bad Derby County were. And Craig, I will give it to you because I know how much you hated Southampton. I know me and you speak to Alfie, and Alfie was a lovely lad, and Alfie even cries over this of how bad they are as well. So give me your views on how terrible they were this season, mate.
You know what? I'm gutted that they have to fill a relegation spot. The main reason being because it's just fucking funny every single season they're in the Premier League just to watch them capitulate. Long gone are the days of Matt Letizia. We are talking I can't even remember. No, that was it. Jurich, wasn't it? Who took over from Russell Martin? Russell Martin, who hasn't got a fucking Scooby-Doo. The fact
who's going to be the new Rangers manager as well?
I know. Well, that's fucking Celtic winning it year on year on year, isn't it? But yeah, to be honest,
actually, just a quick one, Mark. Are you in Glasgow? Or are you outside?
No, I'm further north. I hate it. Both of the ugly sisters, if I'm being honest. I can't stand either one of them. But no, I disagree with Craig. I actually think that Russell Martin come up to Scotland. I think that I don't want it to happen because I'm not a Russell Martin fan. He was shit for Scotland, and I've never supported any football team that he's ever fucking played for. Be Southampton. I actually thought that he'd done an amazing job in the Championship, and he played a brilliant football. He didn't adapt well enough, but I actually think that his style of play will suit Rangers up here, and I actually think that they will get closer to another shit manager in Brendan Rodgers.
Mark, you're being too nice to him. He's fucking useless. He was riding on the coattails of fucking Ruben Selles, who, was the year beforehand. Fucking, what was his? Nathan Jones.
Oh
Jones.
my
They might as well
God.
have got fucking Tom Jones, fucking singing sex part. Let's be honest. He would have done a fucking better job. Ralph Hasenhüttl, they were moaning about him, all the way along. To be fair, Southampton under him were going down the fucking ski track quicker than fucking, the fucking Jamaican bobsleigh.
Do you know something? I'm going to fucking hate Southampton for the rest of my days, and I'm going to hate Ipswich, and I'm going to hate Leicester as well for being so fucking shit this season and not relegated Spurs. I'm going to fucking hate them. I hope they get fucking. I hope they go into bankruptcy. I swear to God. I hope they lose their paper clubs. Fucking wankers. This one fucking year. 1 year you only had to turn up. 1 year in your history. You had to turn up and you done fuck all.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest, though, Mark. They had the shittest manager in the Premier League under Russell Martin. And they decided to upgrade him to an even shitter one. As somehow they couldn't find somebody who was less shit. They could have gone down to the fucking park in Southampton and found somebody who was a lot better. It was a case of which one do you want? Do you want
no, because he still won a trophy. He still won a trophy.
You're not getting that trophy. You're not getting that trophy. Fucking
honestly, it was fucking hilarious. How you find somebody who is shitter than Russell Martin, I don't know. Let's be honest. Nathan Jones is right fucking down there.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, he's fucking terrible.
What context are you putting this into? What context are you putting into? Is Ange a worse manager than Russell Martin? Be serious. Look at the fucking money that Tottenham have spent.
No, but
look at the money.
Russell Martin had a fucking decent.
How much money has Arteta spent and ain't won a trophy?
Yeah, we're building the whole entire squad, and we're on the second floor of the penthouse, bro. So you did just calm yourself down there. We're on the second floor. We're going to the top floor. Second floor of the Champions League. We're going to the top floor.
Well, it's all right. What we're going to do, we're going to poison your squad, and we're going to give you a lasagna gate tragedy as well. We're going to go for that. But so here we go.
What pisses me off though with Southampton though is that everybody started feeling sorry for him. We fucking didn't. We beat them twice. It was like, fuck you. Get back down to the Championship. We'll take 6 points here. Man City, poor old Southampton. Let's rub their back. Give them a fucking point. West Ham are just West Ham.
Even Spurs got an aggregate score over Southampton of +10.
Exactly. You are shite.
I know, exactly. Right, so I think we've covered all of our league review for that. So I'm just going to go around each person, and I will go through the table again, and I just want a one-word answer of where you think they'll finish, and will they win a cup next season as well, just to round off the show. Are you guys all okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah, go for it.
Lovely stuff. Right, so Craig, Liverpool, where are they going to finish? Winners and cup?
Yes, unfortunately, and they'll keep going on about it for the next 20 years. I think they'll win the Champions League again.
No, that's fair. And according to David Clark, Arteta will be in phase 6 of the Arsenal rebuild next year. The phase 6 will be Arteta losing his job and Iraola coming in to replace him. We will see. I am sorry. Right, Magic. Liverpool placement and cup or no cup, please, mate.
Second. And yeah, I think they'll get one of the domestic cups, and I agree with Craig. I think they'll win the Champions League.
Lovely stuff. And Mark, placement for Liverpool and cup, please.
Second FA Cup.
Second in FA Cup. David Clark's gone Liverpool Prem Champions and League Cup for that, so they will have to take that off of Newcastle if they do get it. Right, Arsenal. Craig, placement and cup, please, and what phase of transfer period they will be in this year as well. I'm sorry.
I'm going to really upset you now, Mark. 4th.
Yeah.
So you still get Champions League. You still get Champions League. No cup.
Okay. And transfer phase.
I get fucking relegated.
Transfer phase.
Get fucking relegated.
Are we at DEFCON 6 yet? Are we at DEFCON 6?
Transfer phase, Arteta will just do the same as what he's been doing beforehand and think, oh, shit, that didn't work.
No, that's fair. Magic, are we going for what placement, a cup, and transfer phase, please, mate?
I'm going 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they win anything, and I think Arteta it's phase 6. I think he's right. Sorry.
No, that's fair. Des has gone for the quads. Don't know what shit Des smoking. We'll see Mark's answer, and then that will give us the idea of what stuff these guys are on each week. So, Mark, placement, cup, and what phase are you guys going to be in next year as well?
Right. First of all, I'd just like to say, Magic, I hope you go down with Bournemouth. Fuck you. First and Champions League. I think we'll do I think we're going to win both of them.
And transfer phase.
It's up to the winners, mate. If they make sure that details are there, it's all going to happen, and you all know it.
Yeah, and you said that. You said that. You said that through gritted teeth. I love it. I love it.
No. You all know it.
Right, David Clark's gone second. Prem semi-final, FA Cup, Champions League, and Champions League last 16. So we shall see on that one. Right, Man City, Craig, placement and cup.
I'm going to go 3rd.
Yep. And any cup?
The League Cup.
Okie dokie. Magic, same for you, please, mate.
First, because I'm always going to bet on City until it's mathematically impossible. And no, I don't think they win anything else. I think they're going to put it all into league.
Mark?
Greeby Craig, 3rd League Cup.
Okie dokie, no worries. We've then got Chelsea. Craig?
I think Chelsea will dip off. 6th.
6th. Cup?
No.
Cool. Palmer FC, 5th in the Premier League, FA Cup quarter-final. Okay, no worries. Magic, your sister club, what are you going for?
Don't call them that. 8th, no cup.
8th, no cup. Oh, okay. Mark?
5th, no cup.
5th, no cup. Craig, Newcastle?
2nd.
Oh, cup or no cup?
No cup.
Magic?
5th, no cup, but good Champions League run.
No, I appreciate that. Mark?
6th, no cup.
And will you be climbing them stairs again next year, or are you going to stay away from them?
No, I'm going to take the fucking lift. I'm going to take the lift. Like a proper person.
I tell you what, I think we should put up scaffolding and just hoist Mark up on one of them scaffolders lifts. Just fucking drag the bastard up the side of St James's Park. And what we'll do, we'll make sure the lift breaks at phase 6 of how high it is in the stadium. So we'll leave him there and we'll just get a banner that just says, I'm an Arsenal fan and we're phase 6 right now.
Yeah, but I can still say that I'm 6 and I've never been down at 17th.
Oh, right. Cheers, Des. We'll see you later, mate. And I know Mark will check in with you after the show as well. Right. So Aston Villa, Craig.
5th.
Cup.
And they'll win the Europa League.
Good shout. Good shout. Magic.
Yeah, 6th, and I agree. They're my favourites for Europa League.
Mark.
Yeah, 5th is Europa League as well. I would agree with that. I hate to watch what I'm doing. I'm not writing this down, so we're putting the teams. So, but no, Villa. I think that I think that they'll have a very good season next season, not being Champions League.
No, that's fair enough. Mark, we could get another trophy this summer as well. We could get Super Cup.
Just PSG.
Oh, I know exactly. We're going to get killed. We are going to die. We will die. They were.
Harry, you're a bit lose your channel. This is just getting to a point of nonsense. I get more sense off of watching Peppa Pig with my young lad.
Where is it? Whereabouts is the Super Cup?
It's in Italy, Udinese.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Daniel Levy will just give it to PSG, save on the fucking plane fare.
Oh, I know. Right, let's go. Craig, Forest.
Forest, 16th.
Oh, okay. Cup.
No.
Magic.
12th, no cup.
Mark.
I think they're going to have a drop off. I think 10th, Nuno's going to leave because of the nonsense that his owner did with them. I think he'll leave, and I think the other best players will be leave as well. So I'll put them down 10th.
No, that's fair. Magic, I'll come to you first. Brighton.
Oh, go on then. 4th. Yeah, why not? Be positive. And
Cup.
yeah, we're gonna win. Yeah, League Cup, sure. Why not? Just put it on record. So if it happens, I look like a genius.
Cole, you're delusional, so
Yep.
we won't come back to you again. Craig.
9th.
And Cup.
Nothing. No cup. Sorry.
Mark.
19th.
Do you reckon? Really?
Yeah, no, he said that, so when fuck off, he's getting relegated.
No, that is definitely.
I hear it.
No, that is fair. Right, Craig, Bournemouth.
7th.
And Cup.
Yeah, let's win the FA Cup. There we are. I've always wanted to win the FA Cup, so yeah, let's go and win it. Fuck you know. I might be delusional, to be honest.
Okie dokie. Magic.
9th, no cup.
Mark.
20th. He's pissed me off more Magic tonight.
Wonderful. Right, okie dokie. Brentford. Craig.
Brentford, 13th.
Cup.
No.
Magic.
Yeah, 11th.
No cup.
No cup.
Mark.
12th, no cup.
Okie dokie. Fulham.
Fulham, 11th.
No cup.
No cup.
Magic.
Yeah, 10th, no cup.
Mark.
30th, no cup.
Okie dokie. Palace. Magic.
20th, no cup.
Cool. Craig.
8th. No cup.
Ooh.
Okie dokie. And Mark.
14th, no cup.
Okie dokie. Right, so Forest are going to win a goldfish at the famous Nottingham Fair. So, and Bournemouth ride the waves but get swallowed by the sharks. Cool, wonderful. That's your daytime out there. Craig, Everton.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Everton, 12th. No cup.
No cup. Okie dokie. I've just lost my fucking league
Oh, no,
table
actually,
again.
they will win a cup. They'll win. Oh, we've got the new Stadium Cup. They'll go on about
Oh
it
my
fucking this time. So,
I know, but they're still keeping Goodison as well now because they're giving it to their women's team and their youth team. So they've got to redevelop that because apparently it's not compliant to safety standards at the moment. So it's pretty much the ditto of Old Trafford. Magic, what are you going for Everton, please, mate?
We're like I filled up the top half already. 14th, no cop.
Mark?
I think they'll have good season. I think 8th. I don't think I've given anyone 8th yet. No cup.
Okie dokie. Craig? Olympic running track?
Oh, I think that they'll finish 15th.
15th, no cup?
No cup at all.
Magic?
Yeah, 15th, proper Graham Potter stuff. No cop.
Cool. And Mark, will they be hosting the Olympics next season?
In 15th place at that stadium, yes, 100%. I'm agreeing with the guys. 15th.
Lovely stuff. Everton bore us to death and get the money for being the Undertakers. There we go. Thanks, David. Right, okie dokie. Old Trafford and their rat. Craig?
18th.
Oh, no cup.
No cup. I actually think Manchester United are in fucking free fall. And to be fair, Cunha, I just don't think it's a very good signing. He'll lose his fucking marbles at some point during it. Rashford is playing better at Villa. All the players are playing better elsewhere than Manchester United. And yeah, it's just a fucking basket case, that club.
That's fair. Magic?
Yeah, it's difficult to disagree with that. I'm gonna say 16th because there'll be teams that will drop off more. But yeah,
no,
I think your sentiment's good.
That's fair. West Ham make missed money from Gypsies, bear nuclear fights. So there we go. Mark, what are you going for United?
I don't know if I've said it, but I think 12. I don't know if I've took up 12 points, but I think they'll do slightly better. But I still think I agree with Craig. I think they're in a free fall. I honestly do think they're in a free fall, but that free fall might not happen for the next year or so.
That's fair. Wolves, Craig?
Wolves 14th.
Cup?
No.
Magic?
18th, but they'll walk the championship next year.
Okie dokie. And Mark?
17th for me.
So they'll just survive. Any cup?
No cup.
Okie dokie. Tottenham, Craig?
10th.
10th. Cup?
No cup. And will be like, don't win anything in my third season, mate.
Okie dokie. Magic?
I don't know if it's 10th or 11th I've got left, but I think it's 10th. So 10th. And yeah, I think he'll I've already given the cups up. Wouldn't shock me if he won something though, because Zambia always wins things.
No, that's fair. Manchester United will suffer with less fans because they can't get away with Manchester parents telling the kids, whatever you do, keep away from that main road. Mark, I know you're going to probably relegate Spurs alongside Bournemouth and Brighton tonight. So what are you going for?
18th, bro, you know what?
I knew it.
You fucking know, bro. You know what? Your club is in a disarray. I don't give a shit about what you have just done in the Europa League. It's not the same tournament. I think the stadium debt is getting on top everyone's heads and people are feeling pressure, and I think you're in a free fall.
No, that's completely fair, mate. Completely fair. For me, I think we'll probably finish 7th or 8th. Maybe get a League Cup. To be honest, I'm hoping we use Europa as a springboard, but that's about it. I can't see us.
Champions League's going to cause a major problem to Spurs as well this season. You're not equipped for it at all.
Apparently, we're 17th, FA Cup and Champions League winners. So at least some of them still have faith. We shall see.
I'll tell you what, Ange will be like, I'll win 2 things in my second year, mate. The third year. Don't. Not crown.
Rightio. Let's go Leeds. Craig?
20th. Nothing.
Okie dokie. Magic?
18th, nothing.
Mark?
I don't think it said 14th, so I'll put Leeds 14th.
Any cup?
No.
Cool. Burnley, Craig.
19th, nothing.
Okie dokie. Magic,
19th, nothing. Least goal scored.
Mark.
Possibly 16th if I've got any numbers left. I don't know which one I've duplicated or not, so 16th.
Okie dokie, mate. No, that's fair. And Sunderland, apart from a shit day out.
I think they'll survive. 17th. I think they'll just scrape through. There'll be fans running on the pitch. Those boozers and those charity shops will be filled up with people spending their gyro checks. I don't think they've got gyro checks anymore. That shows my age, Callum. So yeah, they'll be a very, very happy bunch.
Cool. Magic.
Yeah, I got them up 17th. Similar sort of stuff. Massive party, even though it's a terrible away day.
Well, yeah. And Mark.
I don't think it says 30th. I'll put them there, but yeah, Sunderland's a funny one because they're going to lose their best player in Bellingham. I believe that he's going to follow in his brother's footsteps and head off to Dortmund.
Yeah, he's going to go. Sunderland 20th, size 44 D cups. Jesus Christ!
Hey,
Right,
bought by the government. Oh, hang on. Can we, I tell you what. Can we do something, Callum? Can we also predict for those 3 relegated teams as well?
Okie dokie.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So Southampton.
League One.
Okay. Magic.
6th.
Mark.
I think they'll be mid-table. Don't know be anywhere near it.
Ipswich.
Ipswich, I think, will finish top. I think they'll come straight back.
Magic.
10th, 11th.
Okay. Mark.
Might get into the bottom half of the playoffs. Can't see them doing anything.
Fairs. And Leicester.
This is the weird one because I think Leicester have got a lot of young talent, but there's this points deduction.
Yeah,
so,
this impending one.
I would say without the points deduction, second, with it, outside the playoffs.
Fairs. Magic.
Yeah, I think that without the points deduction, I'd have probably had them first. But I still think they'll get automatic promotion, so second.
Mark.
I think the opposite. I think they're going to lose a lot of players, and I could actually see them going into League One.
Wow. Okie dokie. Right, I think that's a nice spot to end on then tonight. So thank you very much to everyone who's been in the chat, David Clark, Mastic, Des, Josh, everyone like that. So it's been great tonight for our post-season review. Without further ado, Mark, obviously your first time on here with me, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. Where can everyone find your stuff?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's a Tottenham channel, but guys, I've loved it. Honestly, this has been the best partner I've had for a while, and a brilliant laugh. So, Craig, brilliant meeting you, Magic, and Kallum, absolutely superb, mate. And we have an Arsenal podcast, very small podcast, but it's in the North Bank. So I've got it next to my name. That's where you'll get us. So please, guys, come across. It's positive Arsenal fans, and we do, it's well balanced. It's a bit like us as well. We take the piss at each other, to be honest. So it's all a lot of good banter and a lot of good fun. So, jump over there. But thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
No, been a pleasure, mate. And Magic, obviously making your debut with us as well. So where can everyone find your stuff, mate?
Yeah, so thanks so much for having me on, guys. First podcast, actually. Most of my stuff's on Twitter. It's just same at Mwepu Magic. I've did some YouTube stuff, and then I've got doing a degree at the moment. It's taking up a lot of my time, but that'll be finished in a couple of months, and then there'll be a lot more YouTube stuff coming up from like August time. So same name again, Mwepu Magic. Yeah, thanks guys for having me on. Really appreciate it. It's been great.
Brilliant, been a pleasure, mate. And my near and dear friend and co-host tonight, Craig, where can everyone find your stuff, mate?
So the channel is Up the Cherries in all departments, UTC, IAD, AFCB. You'll find us. You'll find all sorts of stuff on there. You'll find our cherry picking podcast. We're doing a daily morning show now, so you can wake up with the cherries as well. So there we are. There's something to look forward to. But there's lots of interviews on there. David Icke, Richie Neville. You've got Hard Fi. Come over, have a little look, see what you think. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, of course, YouTube, Pornhub, whatever, anything else, any other reputable source.
Oh, God.
Where you get your best material from.
No, it has been
That's
a pleasure, and yeah, that will be edited out. Oh wait, no, we're actually live. Shit. On that note, I can announce we will be continuing the Premier League podcasts next season. Myself and Harry are working out the details to see how we'll be hosting it and co-hosting next year, because Harry will be finished his GCSEs, so he'll be stepping in to take over the pods after, I believe, next week, and it'll give me my well-earned break to go and do some of my own stuff to work on in my private time, because I've been doing this for nearly 2 months now straight, so I am getting tired.
Is that Pornhub?
Yeah, I was thinking of doing some stuff with Craig.
There's a market for that, I'll tell you. There's a market.
Yeah, we will be disclosing our content creation very soon. It will be fun. We shall see. No, in all seriousness, though, I have really enjoyed this Premier League podcast this year. I've had some great guests on. I've made some great friends as well, who I will continue to work with. I've had some amazing guests, and so all I can say is thank you very much. And this will be our last show for a few weeks until the transfer window kicks off, and then we'll start doing some transfer shows and all that. But obviously, if you want to find myself, I'm Kallum Stubbs 97 on X. You can find me at Park Lane Podcast. Find me at Scarfey Spurs Talks as well. You can find me all over X doing different reveals on Spurs this summer as well, based on some information that I get from friends. And apparently I'm going back to my tractor. I'm from Essex, mate, so there is a difference, so it's all good. Well, I live in Essex, I'm from London, so. But on that and further ado, don't forget to like and subscribe to Harry's channel, and have a good evening, everyone.